Hello and welcome. It is Roller Wiener Monday, and we are live, apparently. So it says anyway. I never know what is going on. Certainly, get your wieners out. We're live here on the show. A little bit early today. We'll be early next week as well. It says 0, but I assume there's somebody up there. Who knows? Is there music behind this thing? By the way, I want to ask people, just please stand by. Is there music? I can't hear it. So, all right. So we got a lot of stuff going on today. I had a time change at work. That's why I'm running a little bit early. It'll be next week as well. I want to give you my flu shot saga for those of you that don't read the blog. I'm not feeling well today still, although I don't sound too bad today compared to how it has been. Hey, the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse is open. That's important. People that went down, and drivers were freaked out. MATS is coming. AB5 is halted. And there's lots of other things going on as well. I have a whole yellow sheet of things, among other things. So there we go. So there we are. And I'll try to keep clicking and doing everything properly. So there we go. So today, Wild Bill was first all week. I appreciate that. And Michael Cole first today, though. I did, at least on my screen. All right. So there we are with that. Let's see. Where am I as I go back here? Oh, Trucker Hershey's here today. Al Johns. I appreciate it. Michael Cole, as we said, is here. Alexandra, I would love to get some spam. It's super delicious. Isn't it great? All right, Christina, thanks for being here. Women do know what they're doing. That's why men need a woman. Otherwise, we'd basically just walk around in our underwear all day and have no idea what's going on. Mark is here. Thanks for being here today. I do see that James Faustus here and Fleet Nav Systems is here today. Thanks for coming in. So we'll see how long we can get going today. Eventually, I may not be able to talk, so that might have to be the end of that. So, Al Johns, I run a CR England dedicated with a triple bunk. That would be great with a Super 10. Wow. You know, if I could teach somebody how to drive it, that'd be really something. They have to be very, very patient, to drive it. Luke 1234. I'm early today because I had a work change, which I couldn't get out of. So I had no choice but to move the show early because I have to go in early this week and next week. The run I was doing, they don't have anymore. And so what they do, they give you the day off. If they don't have anything for you to do and you get paid to sit at home, which is pretty nice, $200 to stay at home. But when they do have another thing to do, you have to go do it. Otherwise they'll stop paying you. So I really didn't have much of a choice for that. Although I did get some days at home paid, which is super good. Which is better than some people in a triple bunk truck where three of them are sitting around not making anything. Day cab gear jammer, it's 8:30. So, yeah, I did think about it's only going to be like 8:30 on the West Coast, West Side, but there's really nothing. 2 weeks. It's just this week and next week, and then we'll be back to normal time. So we should be back. That'd be better. That'd be much better. Why is it Roller Wiener Monday? Well, because of roller wieners and maybe what you're seeing as well. People don't like Mondays usually, but hey, it's just another day, right? So, once a day, every day that ends in Y is a good day. Ruth, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that today. Let's see, Ruth Keimer. So I appreciate that. D-Miller, I have you ask a question when I can. Yeah, just roll it out there and we'll get a group answer for you. So straight up, hello, what's happening? Feel better and drink fluids. Yeah, okay, so Ruth, I agree, and thank you. And here's the thing, if you didn't read the blog, all right, so on Christmas, I do want to share this, right? So on Christmas, I go to Christmas, and a lot of the years I don't go because why? People bring their sick kids. Okay, so but my wife won't really drive at night anymore. She's in her extreme upper 30s as well, and she doesn't really like driving at night. So I go to Christmas to take her down there, and of course, there's a bunch of sick kids, so I get sick on Christmas. So, Christmas comes and goes, and we went on Tuesday. By Friday, I'm super sick. All right, but I had an appointment Tuesday, New Year's Eve, already at the doctor. Already had it scheduled for months, just regular blood work and stuff. No problem. At the end of the year, the doctor's like, hey, why don't you get a flu shot? I'm like, I'm already sick. And she goes, oh, don't worry about it. She takes your temperature and everything. You don't have a temperature. You just have the common cold, so you won't have any problem with the flu shot. I'm like, all right, well, you're a doctor, so you must know what you're talking about. Wrong answer. The next day, super sick, right? Fever, chills, felt terrible, right? Fortunately, I'm off on New Year's Day. But then Thursday, still very, very sick from this flu shot. That's not going to be any problem. But you have to go to work. Why? Because New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are a paid holiday for me. And as most places, if you don't go the day before and the day after, you lose those paid holidays. Plus, I don't get any sick days, so I wouldn't get paid. I'd lose 3 days of pay. So I'm going to drag my butt into work. Friday, sick still. Disaster. The weekend, disaster. Still sick from the stupid flu shot. I will never get a flu shot if I'm sick, and I don't recommend anybody does either. Of course, see your doctor for information, but who knows if they know what they're doing. Yikes. Because still sick from this. On tons of medication. I got some of them right here to get through the show here. And just super not happy with the doctor about that. Jay James has been 3 weeks on vacation. Hey, that's a super nice vacation, I will tell you that. What do I think about Halver? Who knows anything about Halver lines? I don't know anything about Halver lines. Busted wallet. You can't drive a manual? Well, it's time to learn, but, the automatic restriction, not doing bad, Randall. Good morning. Whatever happened to the guy who took the truck, ran away and killed those people in Colorado? Nothing at the moment. That runaway truck, there was talk. Somebody said, hey, he's going to take a plea. But, I looked it up, and there's nothing. I don't know where that went. Maybe it was some local news story. And so he has a date in a few months where the trial will start. So, but there's nothing more about it. Did I hear about the accident in Indiana? Oh, yeah. I wrote that down here. Huge accident, 30 miles from me in Indiana. Truck driver. Here's the thing. He admits, this is what he told the police, that, he was looking down to put his coffee down, and he ran in. He killed 3 people, sent 14 more people to the hospital. He got arrested on the spot, and he has 3 felony counts of reckless homicide. Do not drive around without paying attention. Okay, please pay attention. It's so important. And I don't know how long he wasn't looking at the road. It seems like a second of putting down your coffee, this wouldn't happen. He killed a baby and 2 21-year-olds and a baby. And by his own admission, he was not watching the road. He's done. He'll be in jail for probably years, and that's not great. And people are dead because of that. Pay attention, please. Geez. Did I see where they arrested that guy for manslaughter? Yeah, reckless homicide is what the paper said here. 3 counts of reckless homicide and more charges to come. Yikes. Why do carriers switch IFTA and tags on trucks? I don't have any idea. And that's a good idea. You should get your new IFTA sticker on. I went and got mine. It was warm, so they stuck it on there. Usually they give it to you and wait for it to warm up, but it was warm, so it's stuck on the truck. Don't stick it on your truck if it's 20 below zero, by the way. Because it's not going to happen. Alexandra, that is exactly what that is called. Exactly. Yeah. Company not showing taxes on settlement that only pay $66 per trip per diem. Is that right? No. You would get taxed. If you're an employee, you get taxed. They can do the $66 a day, though. They can do $66 a day. Certainly. Monday hates Garfield. Yeah, no doubt. I love Garfield, by the way. I read Garfield every Sunday. A flu shot is the flu virus, but weaker. So you have a cold, you'll get the flu. Oh no, the doctor said no, you'll be just fine. It doesn't do anything. So and then I'm reading about it, and everybody says, oh, don't get it because not only will your cold last longer, the flu shot won't be as effective because you're already sick. So I don't know, why do people go to school for 25 years or whatever it is to be a doctor, and then they don't have any idea what they're talking about? The guy that said NFI bought a GP, where'd that go, right? Was right. They put a video. Yeah, I did. We talked about that a little bit last week. Exactly. Pamela, no flu shots. I agree. Having a job is bullcrap. Yeah, it's the worst way to make a living, certainly. What happened to cause that wreck on 176? Is this the Pennsylvania Turnpike wreck that had those trucks and the tour bus? And they didn't release what caused it, and everybody said, oh, well, tour bus drivers drive crazy. This is 2 or 3 in the morning. Anybody driving out there could be tired. I see this all the time, people weaving all over the place. Who knows what happened to there? Maybe they were putting their coffee down too, and a bunch of people died in that too. Your company hired the Celadon drivers, got him a load to his home state, quit. Oh, really? So he just got hired? That's a lot of work to go through to get a job, to get a ride home? Oh, my gosh. That's crazy. By the way, Celadon's having a job fair. If there are any Celadon drivers watching right now, they are having a job fair on Wednesday. It's a web job fair. You can sign up. Just Google it. I don't have the website. And they'll give you a link to it. And there's a bunch of trucking companies going to hire Celadon drivers, apparently. But this is a month now. They closed December 8th. You have a friend that started Halver, or just seeing if you had any info? I don't, but maybe somebody does here. You didn't hear about the Indiana accident, but the one on the Turnpike? Yeah, Indiana was just as bad. The road was closed for like 5 hours. was down by Whitestown, which is near 865, where 865 meets 65 north of Indianapolis. The flu shot is watered down version. If your immune system is already fighting, it can't fight the other. No, see, that's the thing. That's what I thought. I go, I'm sick. But she's like, no, it isn't a problem if you don't have a fever. Well, which I didn't. But then once I got the flu shot, I did have a fever the next day. 2 UPS drivers died in the turnpike. I did see there were some deaths there. Condolences. It was just a mess. Early in the morning, we don't know what happened on that one. The truck hit a bus and killed a bunch of people. Yeah, they didn't exactly say what I was looking at. They didn't know yet what happened. Let's see. We haven't heard anything about Smith, about the new IFTA stickers. Yeah, they're due, right? You're still running most companies, though, including us, there's a paper out there that we get an exemption, well, like an extension to April 1st or something because of the cold weather. I don't know why they don't do the IFTA in June 1st or something. But it was warm enough. This winter has been warm. So I just got the sticker put on, so it isn't any problem. But, you'll probably you need a letter or something from the company that says, hey, we have an exemption for right now. What's the word on Cisco? Hard work, good pay. That's the word. You're past all the written. Now you're on the pre-trip. All right. How's that going? Happy New Year, Huntley. Yeah, it's a new year. I forgot all about it. It's 2020. It's going to be great. It's just a license to practice. You have to March 31st to get the new IFTA. We always get some kind of letter about it. But this year it was warm. So, but please, if you're in like North Dakota, it's 40 below zero. Don't stick the thing on the truck. It's not going to stick on there. Sue the doctor for false advertising. You haven't gotten one in 20 years. Normally it's not a problem. This year, because I went to Christmas, which I don't always do because of sick kids. And of course, there's a bunch of sick kids there, which get me sick. So a flu shot is only good if your immune system is strong. Since you were sick, it's going to mess you up. Oh, yeah, right. This is tomorrow's a week, and I'm just barely feeling better now. Yikes. Released yesterday, bus went off the road and cost it. All right. The thing I read didn't say anything about that. So, yeah, the bus driver, then if that's what we're reading, that's terrible. So do I drive for Savior Voice? Just want to get the question out there. Sweet. Alexandra, Sierra England offered you a job to train new folks earlier this week. How did they get your information? And when do you start, on Monday or next Monday? I'm just wondering. Good morning. Feel better, Ron? I appreciate that. They released that the tour bus driver was going too fast. Yikes. See, they're trying to meet some kind of appointment. Vaccines are poison. They seem to be. It certainly didn't do any good. Do companies have to register for the company drivers register for the drug thing? All right, I have that on here too. The Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse is open. And so the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, right. It opens today, the 6th. Now, you don't have to register if you're not looking for a job. Theoretically, right now, you don't have to be registered for it. It's not a bad idea to register for it. Oh, and I did read also, owner-operators have to query the system about themselves, so I'll love that. Your company now, between now and January 6th of next year, is going to look at that Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse for your information to see if you've ever refused a drug test or anything like that. So if you have, then of course you have a problem. But right now, unless you're looking for a job, you won't have to register. But if you go to look for a job, you'll have to be in there because they have to look at it for you. If you're not in it, they can't hire you. So do you have to do it right now? Not right now. But if you get a few minutes coming up, it's not a bad idea to just get in it, and then you'll be in it. You won't have to worry about it at some later point in the future. What time zone are we in today? Yeah, acceleration. I know, because of a work change, I had no choice but to move up the show earlier. I didn't have any choice. Dang jobs. You see the meme on Facebook, hit 1820 and 1920. No, I didn't see that. You don't want the flu? Here, take this flu shot. It has the flu in it. I know, amigo, it's crazy. Oh, you don't want to get the flu? Here, let me give it to you now so that you don't get it later. Not bad. You're in Texas, paid yourself for $2,000. That's a bargain. I paid $1,595 in 1988 for school. So, I mean, that's way cheaper than I'm seeing some. Started November 20th. That's a long school, though. What is the clearinghouse? Hi, Bio. I do have a video on it, which I don't have a link to here, but the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, of course, an FMCSA database that you put your information in. Then a company looks at that database to see if you've ever had a positive test or refused a test at any company. And then a company, if you do that, has to put that information in there. They have to look at the database for your information one time a year at least. So I have a video about it, and it only takes a couple minutes to register. You don't have to right now, but it's a good idea to get in it. Trucking Journeys, when you're home for Christmas, you got a letter from Schugel asking you to come back. Hey, come on back. We'll give you a pay raise. And they hadn't forgotten how professional I was at my job. Nice. That's pretty good. I would at least appreciate that. Joe, it's 60 in Florence, South Carolina. That's super nice. Today, looking at 40s here today. No snow in the 10-day forecast for Lafayette, Indiana. If you're coming up, that's your weather forecast. They must be running out of new drivers. Yeah, there's none left up there. They should get in on this Celadon thing. If you write checks and pay bill, write 2020 for year and not just 20, so nobody can put the 19 behind it and say it's played already. Yeah, if you write a check for something, I guess. For all you people still writing checks, be sure to put 2020. I did see that somewhere. Alexandra has an online profile. Apparently they got that info. Oh, you said no, you don't do Sausage Fest. That's great. You know, I can't wait to ask them about that at the truck show, which I hope everybody will be at. March 26th to 28th. I hope to see everybody at the truck show. We can go around and ask companies questions like, what's up with the Sausage Fest at Sierra England? What's going on? What's up with that? You know, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be a Sausage Fest. It could be 3 women in the truck, too. So I assume they have women drivers like everywhere else. So maybe it's not. Who knows what they're doing over there? Maybe they'll have one of the trucks. They didn't have one there last year. They didn't have a 3-bunk truck. I asked them. They go, oh, we didn't bring that. Yeah, why not? They should bring it if it's such a great deal, right? Per the local news, the Bullholland Bulldog. I love it. Bus was coming down a hill on an icy road. Surprise, hit a car and a truck. Truck driver was trying to free a woman trapped in the car and was hit and killed by the other truck. Holy mackerel. So he's out. No good deed, as they say, goes unpunished. That's terrible. Alexander, you like your job. It pays well. Hey, but look at all the benefits you can get with a couple of guys hanging around in the truck with you. Wouldn't it be super great? Oh, my gosh. What a disaster. No room. By the way, none of you can bring anything, none of the 3 of you, because they take half the cabinets out to make a bunk out of it. So it's even worse than 2 people in the truck. Wilson, good afternoon. Hunter Brown, good morning. Welcome to 2020. It's here already, and it's in early. Wilson, thank you for the great information. I appreciate that. Kenya, early. Yes, I had to run early. My company changed my time a little bit. I really didn't have a choice. What I was doing stopped. So that ended, and I got to sit at home a couple of days to get paid. But as soon as there's a new job, you have to go take it. Otherwise, they stop paying you. So that's how that went. And so I'm on a different schedule this week, and it'll be next Monday as well, early. And then we'll be back to the regular time. I thought if I start at 1, I would have to end early, so I didn't want to do that. This will still run past the 1 p.m., hopefully today, and that's how that'll go. Michael Muller, condolences. Yeah, what a mess that is. You're just out driving around. These people also here in Indiana, and then next thing you're dead. So that's what I always try to encourage people. Whatever it is you want to do, what are you waiting for? Go do it. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Go make a plan and go do it. If it's changing jobs, if it's skydiving, whatever, something that you want to do, whatever. There's no time like today to get started on it. Hello from Texas. You're on your way to Fort Worth. This is Sam. That's great. James Faust paid nothing 43 years ago. How'd you? You didn't go to truck school then, right? Look, I thought $15.95 was a lot then, which it was. So, but yeah, your deal would be even better. Hunsley got DOT in Iowa on 1-2. First thing he wants to know, personal conveyance. He told me 2 personal conveyance in 1 week, automatically a red flag. Start cracking down. Well, look, I would tell him, look, well, I guess you don't want to argue with him too much, but there's really no limit on it other than what your company says. As long as you're doing it legally, they can't say, well, if you have 2, that's illegal. No, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess it's up to the cop how they want to do it. It could be a red flag, but that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Blue Lion, what's up from the South Texas oil field? How's it going out there? I keep reading about that. Is there still work? Should people still come out there to try to do some work? You were told freight is slow. Trucking Journeys, all right. Well, there's always England we can go off to. You're really close to Lafayette? All right. Well, hey, welcome. I'll be headed out towards the interstate here pretty soon. It's 65 degrees in Dallas. It's coming over. Yeah, look, there is no snow. You're going to be able to roll through Dallas or Lafayette today without any problems. 43 years ago was a Conestoga wagon. That's not that long ago. Holy mackerel. I used to think that, but wow. And I got socks that are almost getting that old. I'm in Fort Worth, dropped at 5 a.m., picking up a new load at 5 p.m., but slept all night. It's going to be terrible. I agree. The worst part of over the road, I think, or one of the bad things is the schedule, right? At least I get pretty much the same schedule, even though I moved up a couple of hours all the time. That's one of the benefits of, a local job. Being over the road and you work at 5 a.m., 5 p.m., you drive all night, drive all day. What a disaster. I was a driver since space age, right? I was a driver since 1994, started going into tech 2 years ago for HVAC. That's a pretty cool job. That's pretty good. To work with a reefer parted trucking and clear $2,500 a week after everything is deducted. Wow. That's pretty good. It's take a shower Monday, Mike Scott. Hey, it's take a shower every day. That's every day. Trucker Hershey got your ticket for Matt's at the TA desk. Oh, are they giving them out too? All right, go to Matt's. Go anywhere you want to go. Get that ticket to get in. If you register early, they'll mail them to your house. Be sure to show up down there and say hello. There's truck parking too. I don't know how many spots they have. Wild Bill will be at the truck show. All right, I'll see you down there. Trucking Journey saw Celadon terms with for sale signs on them at the Ross DC at Carlisle. Storage fees, per their D&H contract were overdue. I don't know if they're allowed to do that because they're in bankruptcy. So I probably wouldn't do that. By the way, for those of you that have a few dollars rolling around in your pocket, Celadon is selling their Indianapolis terminal, 103 acres, among other things, that are buildings and stuff. So that's for sale. I didn't see a price, but I guess if you have to ask, you can't afford it. But in case any of you want to start your own trucking company, they have a 103-acre terminal in Indianapolis that is going up for sale. That's a dangerous truck with 3 women. Yikes. King Bob, yeah, you're late, but it's good to see you here today. Yeah, I'm really early, so you're not really late. Jonathan saw a Celadon truck stuck at a Love's in Alabama. Stuck. What do you mean by stuck? Because some people have sent me more Celadon pictures. I don't know how they're going to have an auction this month when there's still trucks all over the place. The driver was still in it. How is the driver still in the truck? What, is he living in the truck? He co-opted the truck, and now he's like a squatter in the truck. Yikes. Women are statistically better drivers than men. All right, I'll go along with that. Not in my personal life here in this house, but overall, yes. Wasn't expecting an early show in Memphis, heading to Chicago. Right. It's this week and next week because of a schedule change at work. I had to run early on the show. Punishment, you have to drive for Sierra England for a month. Apparently, they have open positions there. Louisiana infidel. That's interesting. Went home for a couple of stints. Oh, after required downtime, come back, and company has Chapter 11. Only been there 16 years. 2019 is the year of bankruptcies. A lot of them did go down. At least you're off being paid, hopefully. High oil prices mean trucking boom. Head to the oil fields. Go Trump. All right, the price, I guess, went up. It only went up a few cents a gallon here, though. So as long as there's work out there, let's do it. I could see my breath this morning in Florida, just south of Wildwood. Yikes. What's going on down there? A friend of mine from Tampa wrote and said it was 62 there yesterday. He was freezing to death. Snow in Massachusetts, typical, right? Joe Vicar, if you don't have tax forms for 18 and 19, you were unemployed before 18, how do you verify employment? Well, we have another driver that's been on here pretty regularly and having the same problem. I think you should be able to just write it down kind of an affidavit style and say it, but some companies won't accept that. So if you weren't getting unemployment and you don't have a tax form, I don't know what you do. These companies don't seem to have a good way to do it. I deserve a cat break. Yeah, we have a new cat break here too, which I have here. So how about that? Gracie is on almost to the top of her tree, giving everybody the evil eye to see what is happening out there. Holy moly. The DOT told me people are using to make it to deliver the load or pick up the load and go to truck stop. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's why a lot of people use it. I don't even like it on there because it's just used for that, and companies look the other way when you do it. That's the problem, is companies that they know you're doing it, but they're looking the other way because they're getting free work out of you, and I don't like it. I just don't like to do it. We can't do it. We're not allowed to use it. All cattle on the turnpike in Pennsylvania always under construction. Every car and truck on the road are always 75. It's winding, steep grades. Oh, yeah, it's everywhere, right? Here in Indiana, I see why this happened down here in Whitestown, because everybody on 65 is going 80, 85 miles an hour. Luke, how long are my shifts? About 8 hours, 8 hours and 15 minutes maybe, depending on how long it takes to get my other trailer. So not a terrible day. I can't be there. I have a minimally invasive operation the day after. Oh, okay. Well, I hope that goes well. At least it's minimally invasive. Don't get a flu shot during that. When is the trucking show again? Where in Louisville? I've never been and want to go this year. How much? Okay, the trucking show is free. By the way, there's no charge to go to the truck show if you'll just get your tickets in advance. Apparently either at the TA or go right here and register. They'll send you tickets at the beginning of March, no charge. It's at the Exposition Center, which is right off of 65 in Louisville. So you'll see signs coming from either direction. Go down 65. It's right there, and you'll love it. It's huge. It's the biggest truck show in the United States every year. So that's going to be pretty good. I heard Smith Transport was looking at one of the Celadon properties in Texas. Oh, really? That'd be a good way to get it sold. If you want to talk to a company too, any company, they'll almost all be down at the truck show. I just saw a Celadon truck in Memphis with a driver in it. Will somebody go talk to these drivers and tell them that Celadon's closed? They could still be waiting for a load. They're just waiting for a dispatch. Please go in there and tell them, hey, you got to abandon this truck. Trucker Hershey, stupid planner started at 2 a.m. for 9 a.m. delivery, and they gave me a pickup for 4 p.m. That's love it. And not allowed to use PCO. So you're like me? Had to call and explain it to them. They don't think anything about it. They're like, oh, he's fine at 4 p.m. What about Creed? I hope Creed will be at the truck show. Just took a shower, ready to run another week. Wintertime, at least wintertime, it keeps down the stink. I'm from Florida, and it was 40 at my home this morning. That's crazy in Florida. It's 40 degrees here. Ruth, hi, Gracie. She's so cute. She's sleeping right back here in her cat bed right down by my feet. Which is typical, right, for where she normally is, as I lose my spot, as always. All right, I could see my breath there. Where'd go? DOT told me people either right. I'm lost, as usual. When is the trucking show? I'm way lost. Holy moly. Formulas transfer got bought out. They wanted 3 years of verifiable work history. That's what I'm finding from other people. And being unemployed did not count. So if you couldn't, like, say you had a job at McDonald's for 3 years before. Here's the thing. You may have to do what some people have been suggesting, which I don't know if I suggest or not, but get a friend or something to verify some type of employment, I guess. That might be a way to do it. Here's a number to call, and then that person, oh, yeah, he worked for me for all this time, so that's one way to do it. That would be a way to do it if they'll accept that, And I see that if we, let's see, if you wear it, you should make it a parrot, of course. As usual on the show. Always do that. Let's see here. Where'd I go? Okay. Before you start driving and they would not hire. Yeah, I don't know how to verify it other than somebody saying they worked for me. Dan, the government says we need more drug testing. Do owner-operators have to do random drug testing on themselves? Yes. In fact, I read that about the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Owner-operators will have to search the database for themselves. And owner-operators, generally what they do, from what I understand, is they join a consortium. So either OIDA or whatever, they'll join a drug consortium, which is not like Pablo Escobar. It's not like that. But what it is generally the group of you get together, and then the consortium pulls so many people a year. Like if there's 100, they'll have to do 50. And that's how you have to join and drug test yourself randomly, because you have to be in a random, either a consortium or as a company driver, something like that. Clifton has, you and your wife have some trucks in Texas on the oil field doing very well. All right, so there's still work down there. James Faust has 2 rescue cats and loves the cat break. Yeah, we just have one. She's not a big fan of other cats, certainly. But, yeah, I love it. Cats, the best way to go. When it's 10 below zero, not out walking them. Right. And then they come and sleep on your head and keep you warm. So pretty good. I use PC when I'm empty at Constantine and they kick you out. That's allowed. That's certainly allowed. GP Transco, good morning. Hello there. A little work change got me out early here today. Oh, thank God it's Roller Wiener Monday. No doubt about that. That should be the thing that you do before a flu shot, apparently. Broke down in Ontario waiting for the tow truck. Which one? Which side? Get out of the back row. Can you interview for jobs at the trucking show? Heck yeah, they'll be happy to talk to you at the truck show, unless they're like Crete or other places. But pretty much they'll talk to everybody at the truck show. And Clay, anyone having Fleet One Edge fuel card issues? Mine says invalid card on the pump. And Bosselman and the boss man said it was Fleet One system and he didn't shut your card off. All right. Well, I'd say, I guess I can't go anywhere until we get some fuel. So, hey, boss, why don't you figure it out? Wylan, hello, and the gang, hello there. Let's see. GP, I finally saw one of your teal trucks. Nice. I wish I could have seen it. It's Fleet Nav Systems. Boy, it's almost 50 here. It's super nice. You must, is it that warm out here? That'd be great. Have you heard anything about Summit Trucking? I was supposed to start, and they called and had everything set up and said I couldn't hire me. Have no tickets. Well, why did they not hire you? They must give you a reason, or you'd say, well, why not? Anyone else having a PeopleNet glitch? I did write that down. PeopleNet apparently is glitched, meaning it's not working. PeopleNet, in their brilliance, had their calendar set up apparently from 2007 to 2019. And so I guess it crashed at the end of the year, and they've been having problems ever since with it. It's crazy. Nobody thought, I guess they thought, we'll probably be closed by then. I don't know what they were thinking. But there were a number of drivers, because these places went out and talked to drivers. They're all freaked out. Like, I don't know what to do. I've been sitting and waiting. Hey, what you do, you paper log it. Okay, the law already allows that. You bust out the paper log that you're already required to be carrying anyway, because you have to have a paper log with you, and you just start on that. It's super easy. You start your paper log just like we used to do, and you keep on driving. One person had been sitting for a long time waiting to hear what they should do. You should continue on your load. Trucking Journeys wants an update on Western Star trucks. James Faust, you lucky dog, broke down in Ontario. You'll be on the back row. There, well, at least you will. At least you'll be excited with entertainment. Kenworth Rider here in Florida. One does the speed limit, which is 70. I get past doing 50 with drivers doing 80 and 90, 100. Yes, absolutely. It's the same up here. I-65 is the same way. That's why I like to run side roads here. GP Transco does not have a Western Star update. That's disappointing. Well, Bill thinks that both of us are the only ones that haven't seen a teal truck, and you were at GP Transco and didn't see one. So I don't know if they're actually out there. I assume so. This is the only way I get to see a teal GP Transco truck, which is like this. These are some of their great teal-colored trucks that I haven't seen. Maybe if you go over there, you can get one, but that's not a promise. As somebody said, Mark promises the teal truck. I don't. I haven't even seen one. So you may get just whatever truck they give you. I don't get to assign trucks at GP Transco. But give them a call for some information. So there. Their Qualcomm, Michael Mueller, their Qualcomm shut down due to Celadon not paying the bill unless they're owner-operators. Well, that's wonderful. They're probably looking at their phones. Maybe, Ryan, maybe the person in the Celadon truck isn't a driver, just a homeless person. That's true. Maybe the person in the truck doesn't even know anything about it. They're like, wow, we can just live in a truck. Gracie needs a Dunkin' latte. That's what she needs, is some caffeine. Who uses Uber and Lyft from a truck stops? Any dead zones? I think most truck stops, there should be Uber or Lyft service, I think. Weiling uses it to get to UA all the time. Majority of the time, they're looking at their phones. A lot of people do that. Alexander uses Uber in St. Louis and Indy and Chicago. I think at most truck stops, you're going to be able to get service there, certainly, for Uber, Lyft, or one of these others. What do I think about a new CDL in the oil field? If you want to do some work, it's and somebody will hire you in the oil fields, absolutely. Roller Wiener and Tide Pod Day, that's really something. That'd be an interesting that'd be an interesting combination. I guess that's what it would be. But it is Roller Wiener Monday. I don't know about Tide Pods, though. I don't know if those would go along good with it or not. We don't need Tide Pods here, exactly. How's the CFI phone holder doing? I think it's going to make the year. How about that? I have a new phone. Somebody said, I'm going to send you a phone holder. So I've got a phone holder coming from a company. We'll have a video out about that. We'll see if it's better than this. Could it be better? Listen to that quality Chinese construction right there. Trucker Hershey's going to call GP Transco tomorrow. All right, they're ready for you. They're waiting for your call. They have an interesting video series on YouTube, too. You can basically see all the people that work there, which I think is pretty interesting. Go check them out on YouTube, and they're doing like a little video vignette, I guess, of each person that works there. They tell a little bit about themselves. That's pretty interesting, I think. Michael Moe's going to have vertical vein surgery in 2 months. 4 surgery in 3 days. Wow. What is vertical vein surgery? Do they have to stand you up to do that then? I get EFS code, but I don't like having to call and explain why I need fuel at 3 a.m. I agree. Tell them to fix it. If it's their deal, their card, they got to fix it. We're the roller dogs. That's the only reason I showed up. Hey, they're right here. Your people that is working fine, they said most of them were down, but some of them were not. But it made the national news, the national trucking news, that people net was basically not working. We're finally switching to 10th Street for an easier driver application approval with autofill. Okay, I've seen a lot of companies use that, so good. We'll see how that works out for you. Probably it'll save you guys a lot of time on your end and be a lot smoother for getting people in. Low-income housing, 53 feet ahead. I will tell you, if that's a homeless person that's selling on truck, you got to give them credit for keeping up on the trucking news and thinking, oh, I can move into this truck. So you got to do that. Peter Evans saw Tealwood on Sunday. Where was it? What is we should have some kind of GPS thing where we can put a pin in a map where actually all these trucks are. Don't listen to Mark. GP will hold a teal truck for you if you promise not to drive near Mark or Wild Bill. I think that's what they do. Okay, you can't go near Lafayette with this truck. Holy moly. Celadon driver told to wait for load, still waiting, not watching the news. That's what I think. I think the driver in that Celadon truck, he's just like, wow, it's really taking a long time to get a load here. Thank you for the great information, Daisy May. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. I think I got it done. I got an email. I've got a show. Okay, yeah. Well, what's going to happen, though, is the beginning of March, they're going to send you however many tickets you ordered, they're going to send them to the address that you have. So you'll have your card there, which when you walk in around the entrances, there'll be a lanyard thing, and you can put it on and you wear it around and you're like a VIP or whatever when you're walking around there. But they're going to send you at the beginning of March whatever tickets you ordered with the people's information on them. It's pretty simple. There's not like it's high security. You basically just walk in the place. But you're going to love it. It's going to be a great fun. And there's food and stuff down there too, so lots of trucks to look at. Smith is looking at buying some of Celadon's new trailers. Yeah, some of them were like brand new, right? Garrett Smith, we have a lot of 16-year-old trailers. Yikes. And Smith is buying a lot of trucks, but they only replace about 100 trailers a year. Let's get those old clunkers out of the system. Today's the day when we announce the optional driver-facing camera for an extra 2 cents added to base pay. We'll let you know what our drivers think. I'm curious how many. I'd like to know the take rate on that. For 2 cents, I think it'll be pretty high. And you're the only place that I've ever seen that pays drivers. I've seen some are optional that let you turn on or whatever, but you're the only one that's adding 2 cents straight up for the camera. So I think you'll get a higher take rate. I'm going to say 2/3, 66% of the drivers take it at a take rate for that. So what do people think about that? Would you take 2 cents to turn a camera on if you had the option to either turn it on or leave it off? But if you turn the driver-facing camera on, you get 2 cents a mile. Who would take it? So, Chris, Happy New Year. Market Trucking Answer just got green lighted at my pickup and hitting the road. All right, that's what we want to see. Get going. Make some money. Going to the Petra for roller wieners after the show. That's super great. You know, they made GPS app for what McDonald's stores around you actually have ice cream machines that work. Oh, that would be a blank. That'd be a blank app. Hi, by 10th Street rocks. I've only heard about it and seen it on there. I'd be more worried about going through Gary with that truck. People in Gary are nuts. I grew up in Hammond, Indiana, for people that don't know, which is nearby Gary, and so I was up there a lot, and that's why I moved down here. Years ago, I had a Ford Fairmont, which I liked very much. I'd paid $600 whole dollars for, and I came out to go to work one morning. I worked in Chicago, and somebody had peeled the steering column on it. But they're so stupid, they didn't take the car. They weren't able to get the car, but they'd ruined the steering column and ignition, and so I had to get in there a little bit, and eventually you could start it with a screwdriver because it was all broken. I don't know why they didn't do that. So from then on, I started this car with a screwdriver, and I would take the coil wire in with me at night. So if anybody did get in it, which wouldn't start because I have the coil wire. Most thieves probably don't carry a coil wire for a 3.3 straight 6 Fairmount with them. They might, I guess. Once you start it, you could take the screwdriver out too. And after that, we decided, I said, that's about enough of that. If people are going to steal a car worth a few $100, it had an AM radio, by the way, with a speaker in the dashboard, a single speaker. Pretty nice listening to Larry Lujack in the morning, but still, I said, that's enough of that. And I got out of there many years ago. I only go back up there now to visit family or whatever. It's in the air in Indiana. I'd be worried about where I go up there. Okay, that's the Sierra England School in Gary causing that. That's not helping. They hire all the time. They run ads all the way down here to Lafayette for that school, for trainers and stuff. GP transfer, you think 30% of the drivers would decide to have it, but 70% of new drivers. Oh, really? That's pretty interesting if it's a split on it. Wonder why drivers that are already there. I'm going to say I'm sticking with 2/3. For the 2 cents, that's $2,000 a year or more. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to get people to do it. Anyone having trouble hearing, Mark? Am I not hearable? I'm sorry about that. GP Transco also claims they have teal-colored trucks. Would take as long as there's money. I would take it as long as there's money to having a camera. All right, that's the only place I've ever seen that pays you for the camera. Certainly, it's a good idea. I'll try to speak up. By the way, I was at the Petro in Gary last weekend. How was it? Pretty nice. Kelly says no on the driver-facing camera. I'm in on the no also. I would not take the money. Never thought I'd catch a live stream, Kyle. Well, thank you for that. I'll be live early next week as well, 11:30 a.m. The Petro in Gaston, Indiana is only 6 miles from my house. All right, so you can just shoot over there even without a truck. All hail Larry Lujack. I wondered if anybody would remember him. I would listen to that on my Fairmount with its AM radio with single dash-mounted speaker in a cracked dash. I applied at the company and they refused me as a driver. Okay. I don't know, the whole interior policy of the place, so I'll pay 2 cents to have a camera in the boss's boardroom. I will say this, that some companies, and didn't you talk about this GP Transco, isn't the boss having one put in to his pickup truck? I think I remember hearing, didn't we talk about that, right? That the boss there is actually having one put in his personal vehicle. And if it goes off, they're going to show the videos to the drivers. Am I right about that? I want to make sure I'm right about that before somebody says, Mark said. So let's see what they say about that. What does the color truck matter? Who cares as long as the bank account? I don't care. I just think it's a good-looking truck. I'm not saying go there because of a teal truck. I never said that about a company due to truck color. I just think it's not a general fleet color. Usually fleet trucks, like where I am in a lot of places, are white. Okay, so this is a non-fleet colored truck. I think it looks good. But no, you don't leave somewhere for a color of a truck. It seems like PTL, but I don't remember. Years ago, 90s, used to run ads in the little truck magazines, and they made a big deal about come and pick your truck color. And they had like 10 different colors, and you could choose. I don't remember if it's PTL. It seems like it was PTL. You got your audio worked out? All right, maybe it wasn't me. That's good. Trucker Beetle Bailey sees and hears me, and it's good to see her today. Oh, hey, your headset had a moment. You need a blue parrot. That's what I think about that. Is KB a good trucking company? If you're talking K&B, I don't like their, I just don't like that they're going to have the police come and wake you up and stuff like that, if that's what we're talking about. So K&B, they have a $1,250 guarantee, which is nice. Not worth it to me. I just can't take it. Trucking Journeys thought about GP Transco, but have too many jobs in the last couple of years. Well, that will end soon. Al John says no camera for him. All right, see, so you're not taking the 2 cents either. Smith is the first company I've stayed a year at. Well, you got to start somewhere. I have 6 trucking jobs in 2 years. I highly doubt I could get a job at too many places. When I started driving, okay, I went local for a few months at Economy. Then I went on the road at Regal for maybe a year or less. And then I had like a string of jobs. Here I'm a young kid, right? Idiot. So a company would say something to me, I'd just quit. Single, right? I don't care. Oh, yeah, you don't like what I did? Boom, I'm out of here. I quit. And like 1 year, I must have had 7 trucking jobs or whatever, 6 jobs at least. Job after job after job after job, because I would just quit, which is not a great plan. But then I guess you're looking at 89, 90, 91. You could get hired easier. And I finally, decided not to do that. But I had a lot of jobs, so I've certainly been down that road because that's just a very impatient. If you didn't like it, boom, I just quit. It's simple as that. Clay can hear me, and I seen you saw teal-colored GP Transco truck in Nevada. Oh, so that's where they'd send them west. They immediately go west from here. We can't, don't go anywhere near Indiana. 2 more cents for a camera in the bunk. Oh, that would be pretty good, right? I won't work for a company that has a driver-facing camera, but hey, that's just how I roll. Well, the thing is, when it's optional, I'm still all right with it being optional. You don't have to turn it on. That's okay with me. It's your choice. And to turn it on, look, I don't think anybody else can bring out a company that says, hey, if you let us turn it on, we will pay you money. I don't see that from any of these companies. Most of them are like, we're going to install it, and we're going to have somebody 21 years old gripe at you about your driving, and if you don't like it, you can quit. That's how most companies do it. At least it's optional. Okay, vertical vein surgery involves catheters inserted into your leg, and a laser seals them up, and your body resolves them. Going to be out of work for 2 weeks. Really? Wow. All right. Well, I hope that goes good. Wow. Is Martin a good trucking company? I like Martin. I like guaranteed detention pay and stuff, so I've liked Martin. They have a lot of local and regional and road and stuff. I saw teal-colored GP Transco in Winnemucca as well, so they're all out west. That's the thing. They're all gambling. That's why I can't see them here. K&B no, Trucker Hershey. Let's see. There's Clay. That doesn't mean they don't exist. 80 West coming out of Utah was a teal truck. They're all west. The teal goes west. So there's the story, I think. To get a teal truck, you have to go out west. So that might be policy. So they basically just send those trucks from Illinois west so that I don't get to see them. And they cover them. Oh, well, Bill's coming in. Cover all the teal trucks up. That's pretty good. If you wear it, make it apparent always, right? Columbia, Georgia had glitches with people net at least once a day out of every week. Oh, so it's just not a good system at all? Joe says ShipX allows you to pick your color. Well, that's pretty nice. I do think, though, I agree with everybody that that's certainly not a reason to change companies. Now, if you're there already and they go, we're getting you another truck, what color do you want? Then pick out a color you like. But even though I'm not a huge fan of the white trucks or whatever, it's not a reason to leave, certainly. ShipX is a company that lets you pick your color. All right, so you want to pick a color, ShipX, but that's no reason to leave. You wear a parrot, but it's knocking the dust off it. It's sat for many months, but it's still good as new, right? That's what we're seeing here. I would take the camera if someone wants to watch me. Okay, well, maybe we all want to watch it. K&B put me in a truck that was infested with bed bugs. Needs to say you did not stay long. Well, did they know it in advance? I mean, bed bugs, they're all over the place. Sherman-Williams hires drivers paying $87 a year and doing real good. Benefits for 2 years right here in Nevada. That's pretty good. We can paint them a good picture, certainly. Fleet Nav System, if you have the choice, to recommend Geotab. Very few issues with them, and we have some pretty great training videos. They do. They have good training videos on it, and if you get a choice, get away from PeopleNet. Nick Vic, thank you, Trucking Answers. I would do the camera for 10 cents. Luke, maybe you can negotiate. 2 cents is more than anybody's ever paid. Most places force it on you. Take it or leave it. So I think the 2 cents isn't bad, although I still would not do it. I mean, I think it's pretty good, really. Here's the thing, Trucking Journeys, 2 cents on 3,000 is $60. So you're really not missing out on much if you say no. Well, it's $60 a week is $3,000 a year. You want a higher rate of drivers taking the camera. That's $3,000. That's nothing to sneeze at here. You know how many roller wieners that buys? Had what was on the deck removed, email back, and no response. All right, 80 toll road, just use I-90, not too many more miles. Either way, they're not coming by me. It needs to be at least 5 cents. Well, most places don't pay anything. Like, nobody pays it at all. Good luck in Idaho. Maybe GP Transco trucks are color-coded by region. Oh, that's pretty good. So I'm in the white Volvo region. They have a map up on the wall, and I'm in the white Volvo region, apparently. Jaguar 12 Airsoft. Unfortunately, it's probably a gun and not a car. Saw 2 teal GP trucks going east on 80 in Illinois last week near the TA in Morris. But that's still in Illinois. They were probably headed back to HQ there. They weren't going to make it across the state line. Here's the thing with Martin, though. They have a lot of like mandatory per diem pay and stuff like that for the first couple months. So what do? They go for 3 months, we're going to give you mandatory per diem, and then, I guess they want drivers to not change off of it, probably. Extra $60 a week is not worth having the camera on. I agree with you, James Faustrat. I wouldn't do it for the 2 cents. As long as it's the same, I wouldn't, as long as it's optional, I would be like, no. Mark might be sick, but still quick on the puns. Hey, the puns are always ready to go. And I always wait to see if anybody gets any of them. Some of them I don't even get until later. You have to opt out of any benefits every year. Martin continually took 401k money out I didn't authorize. They're not supposed to take it out unless you sign it to get start with, really. Did I see the new CR England 3-bunk training trucks? Yes. We talk about them here pretty regularly. A number of drivers have done videos about them, which is pretty horrifying. So you go in the truck, for people that don't know, above your head in this truck now, there's no cabinets and stuff. That's a bunk up there. They took all these upper cabinets out, and that's where the third person gets to sleep. Isn't that awesome? No, it's like slavery on wheels. It's like horrible. Hey, it's here. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Kyle, I didn't have a camera in my truck, but I know they had a microphone at the driver's side pillar. Oh, really? So they're just recording what you say? I might cover that up, because what would they say? They can't see you covering it. That's interesting. Fleet Nav System says your main problem with PeopleNet is that they have a product that fails and keeps their customers in contracts. We put out a meme on this on Instagram. Oh, that's great. So now we're memeing PeopleNet. Yeah. From what people write to me, it's not the greatest product. I will say we don't use PeopleNet, but people don't seem to like it. We don't do contracts on geotabs. I heard the ShipX's hiring requirements are no more than 3 jobs in 5 years as far as truck jobs. Okay. Well, but, that's the recommendation, though, really. Find a job you like that meets your needs, whatever those needs are for you, and stay there. Right? I got lucky having a lot of jobs that I was able to get a decent job, but just find a job you like. Figure out, this is what I like to do. Find a job that meets that. Don't just take the first place that, like I tell people, that brings pizza to your truck school, like May Trucking does to a lot of places or whatever. Find a place that meets the needs that you want and stick it out. Then if something comes up of it, even Celadon drivers, if they'd been there 10 years, they're not going to have a problem getting a job. Because when you fill out that last 10 years and you put one job on there, no problem. There won't be any problems. John, got to go to Nevada. Job centers paying all your CDL school fees. So that's pretty good. So you can driving after a lengthy health issue. I can't believe it. Good stuff. Love the channel. Well, thank you very much. And let us know how that goes. And see what kind of job you get if you've been out for health. Because that has been a problem that people are having, is finding a job after they've been unemployed. Companies want you to be employed so that you can get a job to be employed. How much would the 2 cents per mile be worth if you drove a gazillion miles for KLM? Oh, that guy at KLM that drove, he's like he must be at 20 million miles now. Man, that guy'd be making $400 or $500 a week just on the 2 cents. That guy'd be making, that's pretty good. I don't have anything to hide. What are you guys hiding camera-wise? Well, it's not the idea of the hiding. It's the idea of the watching, How do you feel about company that is out of state that you live in? Oh, that is not any problem. I live in North Carolina, but was debating bar none and Snipes. But ShipX isn't in North Carolina. Well, you'd have to ask them how often they can get you home, but otherwise I wouldn't mind that. Many companies, they don't have terminals in every single state. But that doesn't mean they don't run where you live. You just have to ask them, hey, I live way out here. How often am I going to be home? That kind of thing. But them being out of state, that wouldn't be any problem at all. I would have a 3-bunk truck if I could have Jennifer Aniston in one and Nicole Kidman in the other one. Well, she doesn't have a passport right now, so I don't think she can come in here. Shipbacks. Oh, okay, right. Geeks Trucking is here. It's good to see you. How's the East Coast doing this time of year? We had considered paying by the hour, but so far it would mean overall lower pay, even if it's the same amount each week. We are always considering options. Yeah, I don't find many people doing it. I wish they would. We run the DAC if that's all that stopped you the first time. Okay, Sierra England CEO needs to get in a triple bunk truck and see how slate. Oh, do you think the CEO of England is going to get out into one of those trucks? No way. Yeah, Geeks Trucking, look, KLLM actually has a driver that's over 7 million miles. And they got called on it, not by just me, but by a lot of the news things, and they stuck to it. So he's on their wall. There's a picture of it. He has 7 point something million miles after 20 some years, so not bad. Clay, I don't like doubles, nor you have the endorsement for it. Look, they're not bad like people think. They hook up easily. The second one follows the first one. No problem. Currently waiting for a load of my Volvo in Garner, Iowa, playing American Truck Simulator. I've heard of it, never done it. I only do Star Trek Online, as people know here. Ironically, can't find any loads on the game either. What a time to be alive. So even the game, the loads are like slow. Instead of a load board on the game, it's like, there's nothing right now. I'm 3,000 miles from my company and it's snowing. Oh, okay, that's super good. Let's see, our CEO, Dominic, there it is, did have a driver-facing camera. I thought you had said that right. Installed in his truck. You said in his own pickup truck. He's been living with it for 3 weeks, getting calls from the safety department. I love it. Are you going to post any of his videos on your YouTube channel? Please. I mean, that would really be something. Look, our CEO believes in this so much, he has a camera in his truck. And does the CEO get 2 cents a mile that he drives his pickup truck, which he should, for installing it in his truck? I wonder if they give him a check for that. No endorsement. You're thinking of Estes? I said Eppies. Okay, supposedly a good company. That'd be a local thing for you to do, right? I have a friend to verify that you've been working for him or her for the last few years. It works. I think so. I think that's one way to do it. Maybe that's a little thing that could be set up. Some kind of verification system. You remember that guy? By the way, Geek Strong, that guy's probably 25 million miles already. Just the time we've been talking here, he's already done another 710 miles today. My rule is making sure the company you go to work for has a terminal within a 3-hour drive from home in case you decide to leave. That's a good way to do it, too. It's not a bad idea to work for a place that's close to you that has a terminal by you so that you can get home. But just because they don't have a terminal doesn't mean they won't get you home. You got to have a place to park the truck, too, though. Remember that. Most places, and rightly so, when you get a parking in a secured location, you don't just leave $250,000 of equipment just laying around at the pilot for, however long you're off. I looked out of place. I quickly learned how to put nothing past the Texas buzzard hawks. ShipX will hire you in North Carolina. I live in North Carolina, and I work for Smith doing Roaring Springs. Tell you this, though, bar none, because a lot of overnight driving. People don't like overnight driving for some reason. There's no traffic. Scales are closed. What's needed for hazmat endorsement other than studying? You can't have, felonies for hazmats and stuff, but otherwise, pretty much no problem. Background check. ShipX, I heard, ran from North Carolina to California for dedicated pharmaceuticals. Oh. You can do your 10 or 34 at home. How about the safety department investigate shippers and receivers who don't put any salt down on their property? That's a good thing to tell your safety department, certainly, that there's no salt. They give us these little clippy things. They give them every year. They clip on your shoes. They have little metal spikes on them. They're completely useless, but I guess somebody at the company's brother owns the shoe spike place. I don't know why we get them, but we get them every year. I will say have some salt with you, but I agree with you. How about they investigate companies that don't put salt down on their own property? How about that? Sam, my company has a guy with 5 million. He's been there 30 plus years. That's a lot of miles in 30 years. I mean, I go 3.5 million at 31 years. So 5 million would be a lot. But a lot of these places like KLLM, they count the miles when you have a student too. So they count that for, somebody sent me, an astute viewer, by the way, sent me one from Mesilla Valley. And they have a bunch of drivers. They have 8-year drivers with 2 million miles. And so these drivers are getting their 2 million mile pictures taken and stuff because they're counting all the time that the student drives too for the trainer's miles. And that's really not right. It should be the miles you drive when you're sleeping. Otherwise, why don't American Truck Simulator miles should count too? Or maybe that's how he's doing at KLLM. Of course, there's no loads there now. James Huss likes to drive at night. That's way better. I mean, there's a few bad winters, nights, but otherwise, night driving, the way to go. Clay likes the overnight driving. Right, you drive off of everybody else's schedule, then you can find a place to park too. If you're out overnight and you need to park, when you go in there to park at 8 or 9 in the morning, guess what? Everybody's leaving. Columbia, George, sometimes the ELD tablet in your truck cannot get a connection to the PeopleNet servers. Then I get a message that says the tablet is not functioning. Use paper log. Right, that's what that said on PeopleNet. That's why the thing is, I was reading that, and it said right on the screen of the PeopleNet, use paper logs. And some driver was like, I don't know what to do. Well, you should use a paper log. That would be easy to show the DOT. Here's the PeopleNet. It's broken. This is why I'm on a paper log. Michael Cole, K&B gets you home to Texas every 2 weeks. They're in Iowa. They have a planner dedicated to getting drivers home. They don't have a great reputation of treating drivers well, meaning they wake you up by using the police to do wellness checks and stuff like that. And I still get emails about them that they're still doing that. They haven't stopped it. So if they would stop that, it wouldn't be too bad at the money they're paying. Fingerprinted every time a renewal on a hazmat. Yeah, you're going to need what? $125 or so, and if your company doesn't pay it. Get your fingerprints done, turn a form in. Imperial Sync, hello there, what's going on? Mark, I have a hazmat and a deferred felony charge. I'm saying a felony. Some felonies do count. Don't necessarily stop it. That's right. I'm saying it's a felony involving a truck, that kind of thing. Some felonies don't stop it, right? Most of them actually don't, but there's a few felonies that would. Just do the background check and see what happens. That's true. How often does that happen? You should not have to go every time you're out of cellular. Well, again, here's this PeopleNet problem. Anyone else like getting stuck at a customer because they didn't clear it of ice or snow? Well, that's terrible. You should, of course, have some salt. I like driveway heat, which is what I use at home, too. And I always have some in my cars because it melts the stuff pretty quickly. So when you're parked at the dock, kind of salt yourself out of there. And a shovel, all that stuff. Someone did say you can get back into the U.S. from Mexico with the new Real ID. I think so. I think the Real ID will let you cross the border driving. Let's see what people think about that. I thought it was for flights. We'll see if you can cross the border with it. If you're just out of cellular, ELD should be recording and compliant. You shouldn't be mandated to put logs. The ELD is actually good. I'm a fan of Fleet Nav System. Believe me, I'm a huge fan. They've done studies on people working third shift have more health issues because a lot of times people will change their schedule. A lot of that when they're home, they're changing their schedule. I don't. Okay, and I'm not exactly third shift especially this week now, I'll be home earlier, but I'm usually back 2, 3 a.m. I'm not working until 7, 8 in the morning on it usually. I'm kind of a modified shift, but I agree with some of that. But a lot of it is people then on their weekends, they change it. When I work a straight third shift, I'm up at the same time 7 days a week because of that. And I don't change my schedule like a lot of drivers where they're third shift and first shift during the week. I don't have that issue with it. Let's see. That one, I don't get that one right. Can't understand the language right. It's off of me. New Year, you're going to be doing any more Doing Better videos? Yes. And who has the best roller wiener? Oh, that'd be interesting. We could do roller wiener tasting. The lack of vitamin D, just get daylights. Yeah, just drink some milk, right? Have some yogurt. Hazmat renewal every time will never sync up. Have to renew your license multiple times every few years. It is stupid, but that's it's only a few minute program every couple of years, you know. You need a passport card, not a passport book. The card is half price or something too, right? $60 for a passport card? Certainly. You have to have the star in your Real ID to enter federal buildings and crossing border, according to the North Carolina. How accurate that is, I'm not sure. I haven't got one yet. I'm not going to get it until my license renews, so not worried about that, you know, about getting that stuff done because I don't plan on flying or crossing borders or anything. So let me see. I had this picture of this. How about this truck? How about that? Flat top K100. I always like to get a couple of these pictures. I got one of these this week while I was looking those up. All right, so there's that. Yep, right. Used to work shifts. Shift work is probably the worst work of any of this work. Certainly, because one day you're this shift, one day, that's a big problem of over the road. There's no steady schedule. That's why I kind of encourage people to get a dedicated route if they can. It'll help you later on with your health overall to stay driving longer at least, because mornings, then evenings, then mornings, no way, right? No way. You can't do it because you'll have a huge problem. James Faust drove one of those. Great. Alexander, time to hit the scale. Oh, hopefully you won't have to go back. And do you have the scale app thing that I've seen people use? Will passport card go for crossing borders? Let's see what people... I'm not 100% sure. I think the card crossed the border. There's going to be somebody that knows this. The card's $45. The book's $130. Give the book, you get 52 pages. It's the same price. All right. To wait for the fingerprints, then take a test, then pay a second fee to put on your license. Yes. Those fees, your company should pay it. Some do. Some don't. If not, you could theoretically tax deduct it if you had enough money to do that. But otherwise, no. Of course, you have permanent residence, green card, of course. You had it with a Super 10. Oh, and what? Probably some Cummins in that then, right? With the Super 10, unlike most of them, which would probably have a cat in them. You probably had a Cummins in them, and not this kind of cat, certainly. But a regular one. So the random drug test rate is 50% now. So companies starting a few days ago have to test 50% of the drivers that they have. So expect more random drug tests this year because it doubled from 25 to 50%. So no problem. Geek Trucking, your wife called. Oh, yeah, how terrible that would be. Used to be over the road, now running the Midwest on short haul. Miss the sights from over the road, but love shorter work days. Right. The longer days, too, aren't great either. I mean, if you can cut down the hours of your day, if that's possible, that also helps, you know. Oh, I knew it. Right. It had a 400 big cam Cummins in it. Whoa, that's awesome. Not the 444, though, right? This is a 400 big cam and a Super 10. Wow. Wonder whatever happened to that truck. Did I see Florida inmates who now have CDL training? Great place to recruit drivers. Prison. Well, look, people in prison that are going to get out need to work. That's what I think about that. So if they're going to be out in society, right, I don't see the point of doing it for somebody that's not getting out, but most people in prison get out of prison. Not everybody goes back. There's a lot of people that watch this and just out that you're walking around society, the guy next to you might be a felon or an ex-con. People need to work. And putting people to work, I don't know, that's not a bad idea to help people not commit more crimes, maybe. It's okay with me. You know, that they're giving people CDL training, and it's better than college training. I'm never a fan of college training in prison. It's harder to get a job, and I'm not a fan of college anyway. CDL training, not complicated. They have a waiting list for that program, too. I did see that. Yeah, great. Let's put people to work, and then maybe we have less people in prison. So, yeah, I'm a fan of it. If somebody's getting out anyway, why not teach them a skill? So you have to have a passport card or book, all right? Okay, Wayne only speaks English, and we barely do that, right? We only speak trucking English, right? Clay, you're heading home, but we'll still be here listening, but not texting and driving. Good. Had row 8 my load 3 times, hauling Stanley Black & Decker tools. More drivers for Western Express. Well, that's the other thing. But they said in this Florida thing, if you saw this, that companies are in on it, basically sponsoring it, saying, you pass this, we'll hire you. And if you know getting out of prison, you're going to have a job, that's very good. I think that's really good, rather than they dump you off kind of like in the Blues Brothers, and he's like, you pick me up in a cop car? Right, that kind of thing. So as long as you have a job getting out, I'm a fan of it, certainly. So if you have to go to court and they don't have a real ID, they won't let you in. I did think about, what if you're in federal court or something? How do you actually go if you can't get in? You go, I can't get in, so I can't come to my court case. How many cat trees does Gracie have? She has one gigantic cat tree. It's 72 inches tall at its highest point, which is taller than me. And she climbs and gets up to the top of it and scratches on it and just loves laying on there, really. It's in the bedroom, so she'll sit there and watch you sleep. You wake up and these 2 eyes are staring at you from the top of the cat bed. It's pretty funny. The cat tree. I was afraid to say the carrier's name, so I gave them a pet name. They're from Texas, and they got a bird on their truck and trailer. Reminds me of a buzzard hawk, especially all the circling they do. Well, that's pretty, we don't know what that is, so okay. Look, some companies watch this stuff for drivers, so I understand that too. These companies, oh, we don't do anything. They watch all this stuff, so I agree with you. The card is good for international crossings by land between Mexico and Canada and a cruise ship from the Caribbean countries. Oh, all right. But I did read this, Jason, and it's not like I'm a big cruise person. I just like to read about it. I've never been on one. If you get stuck somewhere and have to fly home, you can't take a flight with that card. So what cruise companies do, I was reading about this, they recommend you have a passport book. Because if for some reason you have to fly home, you can't. Geeks Trucking wishes you could drive overnight. Hey, everything you want is available to you with just the right choices, right? Colorado legalized magic mushrooms. Oh, God. That's all we need. The drug testing rate is already at 1% of positives. I mean, 1 out of every 100 people. I like being able to speak a second language, Michael Muller. That is not to command, so I can curse at someone in German and they don't know what I'm talking about. I took Spanish in middle school and just couldn't get it. So second language just didn't work out for me. My religion does not permit my hair to be corrupted. I'm a Sikh. All right, don't corrupt your hair. I'm in. Right. I'm going back over the road. Oh, really? Is this where you came here to make your announcement? Oh, well, I've been actually waiting for that. Where can you tell us where you're going to go? What will you be doing? Will you be buying your own truck? What are you going to do? Truck driving is a prison cell on wheels. They can have it. It depends what you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of people that go home every day, and it turns out to be a job on wheels instead of a prison cell on wheels. Why would you do such a thing? Can't outsource blue-collar work. Something's always going to be transported or needed to be fixed. Absolutely. I mean, this auto thing, did I keep this thing? I did, right. This thing is a long way from happening, and this auto still can't get the trailer to the dock. You're still going to need somebody to do that. This is first for long-distance trucking. Someday, will they be able to someday bring the trailer to the dock? Probably. Will any of us see that? I doubt it. I just can't see it happening. Another Tesla ran in the back of a fire truck or something. I was reading about that. I can't see stopped objects. Western Express is going to be happy for prisons to train the CDL job. They can have a job fair in the prison. And Western is not great, but I'm still on the fact that if somebody gets out of prison, they need to work to support themselves. So I'm all for having a job. They go to Western for a year and then go get a decent job somewhere. Back to oversized and overweight loads. All right. Well, congratulations, I think. GP Transco says their founder was born in Lithuania, but moved here with his parents when he was 6, so he could speak Lithuanian and English. All right. My friend, who I've known since 6th grade, my best friend, his parents, born in Romania. So neighbors out there, and he can probably speak Lithuanian to him. They're a little bit, he of course speaks Romanian, but when I come over to their house, his parents are still alive, which is nice. Super nice. I grew up with them, known them for many, many years now. And they speak English to me, which is helpful because I don't speak Romanian. So, but that's pretty good. Escorted by the cops. Okay, right. We're working on the video about the driver-facing camera in the CEO's pickup. Should be released. I cannot wait to see a video from, the camera itself. That's what I'm saying. Will you be releasing to the general public, or do we have to do a public records request for the video? Can't believe they're still doing forward-facing cameras. Yeah, a lot of places do that, and I think you should everybody, should immediately get a dash cam if you don't have one and install it in your truck and in your cars. There's way too much craziness going on. You need to be able to prove what is happening through a camera, an unblinking eye. I used to work for Arca Express out of Markham. Horrible company. What's the problem with Arca out of Markham there, which is near my old stomping grounds in Hammond? Gary, did I do a video on Pride and Pacific Shipping? No, I have not done a video on those. You work for Pacific. All right, there you go. Hello, drivers from Georgia. Cites a PETA for me to renew my English passport. Sorry. Average about 80 miles a day. How many years will it take you to get miles? Well, it's going to be a while before you get that million-mile jacket. Usually companies count 8 years for local drivers if they're not getting that many miles. That's how Yellow and stuff does it. When they'll say 1 million miles, they may only have 500,000 actual miles, but an 8-year deal is generally considered $1 million at some of these local companies. Holland, I've seen them do that kind of thing. I used to visit Germany for Oktoberfest. There's a large Oktoberfest in Jasper, Indiana every year, so it'll be nice going down to that. You're correct. I got both the card. It says right on the back, not valid for international air travel. Right. So if you're on a cruise, they recommend the book, right? A book, because if you have to fly back for whatever reason, you can't. You have to go to an embassy in another country and try to get a passport. So forget that. That Kenworth rode like a dream compared to the turds you drove before that. Well, I will say, when this Kenworth came out, and I don't know what this one is, 80 maybe, trucks were not like they are now. People always want to go back, and it says 84. I don't know if that's the truck number. People want to go back, but you really don't want to go back. The ride is quite improved. Many of you drove longer than me, but I've been driving since 1988, and the trucks then, not great compared to now. So the trucks are way better, way better. Makes the day a lot easier. We'd see drivers then, it seems that we're in their 50s, that couldn't barely walk from the trucks. Our owner operator of the year award here at GP went to a German driver. That's awesome. I'm a German and never went to Oktoberfest. Too commercial. It's the only way I can get that kind of food, right? Alexandra speaks French, but that doesn't do much unless you go to Quebec, right? There's not a whole lot of use for that here, probably. It's certainly in the United States. It'd be tough to find someone that speaks French, and there's not like a French usually neighborhood where you can go speak French, but I just can't get a second language. I tried it, and I can't do it. My trucking job is an ATM on wheels. Isn't that the truth? I ran 150,000 miles last year. Wow. I did the same miles with you guys. That's a lot of miles. Whew. I'm getting tired thinking about it. Would you ever cover your company on your channel? Discreetly, of course, Rumpelstiltskin. I will cover them if I ever quit or get fired. I'll always be a place ahead of the place. So, yes. Greetings from Canada. Your show is awesome. Oh, Vannon, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here internationally. Luke is getting your landing gear repaired. Did you break that off on one of those weird docks where you go in and it goes straight down like that? Oh, scraping them over there. You'll keep GP Transco in mind if your current job goes belly up. You said Celadon was your second choice, but now you can't go there. So truck cab is a prison cell. So it's an office cubicle. The beach, yeah, I mean the cubicle and a truck cab. The prison cell isn't the truck. The prison cell is the job. A job is the prison. J-O-B, just over broke, the journey of the broke. That's the prison. The prison is the working for somebody else where they determine your pay. That's the prison. It isn't trucking. It's the job itself. Just having a job. Anyone else notice Amazon contractors driving like complete meatheads? Hey, meathead. The little van drivers seem to be pretty reckless too. They do. They get in a lot of accidents. They'll hire just about anybody. But yeah, there won't be as many of those loads out there for a little bit now while they calm down from Christmas. I speak a little Spanish, Ukrainian, and thinking about picking up Farsi, Hindi, and Arabic. Kelly, wow. Where would you use the Farsi and Hindi in the United States? There wouldn't certainly be a lot of use for it. It's okay with me. I just wonder why you would want to pick that up. I mean, those languages seem really difficult. I can't imagine picking up a language that doesn't have the letters that I'm already used to. I wish they would do more drug testing. They're going to. We just doubled the random rate this year up to 50% now. So wherever you work, you expect to be drug tested more often. Ford pickups can supposedly back a boat down a ramp. Yeah, they have some kind of, I think all three of them have a trailer backing lever on them. Because people that buy them, then they buy a gigantic boat and don't know how to back it up. People in cubicles should work at home all day. They might as well. What's the difference, right? Do you guys think a Freightliner Century would make a good first truck? Because it's cheap with a Detroit 12.7 and a 10-speed. It sounds good to me. I'm not an owner-operator. Let's get some of those to give that opinion about that. It should get good mileage. What are the rears on that? The Amazon stuff is because of Amazon practices been taken to court over it. I did see something about that. Michael Muller sent a picture of crossing the George Washington Bridge in New York City. All right. Hopefully that's the only way I ever see it again. Virginia's trying to take away firearms. I did see that on the news. That's not going to happen, of course. I'm driving an 87 K100 VIT. Wow. With a 12 V71 on American Truck Simulator. Oh. Would love to have one in real life. Yeah, I mean, you can't get a load for it on there. So I didn't know anything about, I don't know that much about that, like nothing about that game. So that's pretty good. Jason, only got the card because Oklahoma is lagging so far behind on the real ID, and I figured $45 for 10 years is not bad. That's true. Can't fly with it, though, I guess. But it will get you into a federal building. Is that what you're saying? My first truck was a flat roof single sleeper. Volvo, no Jake, right? I remember those days. No Cruise, 10-speed with Detroit. I had a Cruise, but no Jake. And so that was my first job at Regal over the road. There wasn't a Jake on that truck. So you were driving around, no Jake. This was a Kenworth T600 flat roof sleeper, no Jake. Sit-in sleeper. And the truck at Economy, we had two trucks on my very first job. We had a 70s Brigadier, GMC Brigadier, which was a single axle, 5-speed manual, and a 2-speed rear end in it, 5+2. And the other truck they had was a Ford L8000. I'm going to say it was from the mid-70s also. It had a 10-speed in it. That was something in a small Detroit with a front axle limiting valve. So that was a lot of fun driving those things around. But those were local trucks. That was a twin screw for when we got heavier loads. Kenworth Rider, that was the first truck I trained and drove before going in the service. It was a 79 K100. Nice. And another Big Cam 400 and a 13-speed. That would be even better. John, just lost your job at Celadon. I ran team and trained there for 5 years. So many companies can point me in the best no-nonsense direction. Well, you are having a job fair on the 8th. Put on by the state of Indiana. You can look it up. I don't have the website for it. I guess I should, but I'm not very good at that stuff. Anyhow, Google that up, and it's just for Celadon drivers. There's going to be a ton of trucking companies there. You can get in on that as well. And some people here are at pretty good companies as well. Alexandra scaled down and up to speed at 57 south, 105 kilometers. I love it. 105 kilometers. That would do good with French. Don't forget to get a blue parrot as I click that here, and I can do, you can call GP Transco. And how about that? Talk to them about a job. See what they have to say. That's one place to go. They might be able to help you out. You've been there, though, that many years. I salute FedEx and UPS drivers. Those guys get it done, except in Pennsylvania, apparently, where they had that big problem. It looks like a 1980 with the round headlights, square headlights in 82. Yeah, I thought it was like early 80s because they didn't have the square lights yet on them. Ruth, you can do Farsi or Hindi or Arabic at any convenience store? Well, I guess. Like the Quickie Mart, you could do that? I guess so. And if you're good at it, I mean, if you can pick that stuff up, there's no way I'd be able to get Arabic. I couldn't even do Spanish. Prison is working the same job 18 years and hating it, but don't want to walk away from all the benefits that I won't get at a new job. That might be true. Everything is a trade-off if that's what you want. But the prison is the work, not trucking, but any job, because you're always held up by what somebody else does, and you can only provide value to one person, and so you can't ever make a lot of money there. Geeks Trucking, you're going to go back to do what you did. All right. Well, that's pretty interesting. Are you going to go back to the same place that you were at doing what you did, or are you going to go out on your own, get a truck on your own, or are you going to do that as a company driver? There's a reason turnover is 100%. Absolutely. Most of it are lies by recruiters, certainly, or not getting home time. I hear a lot about that. Money is usually not the problem when people write in. It's usually not money, usually. Jason, the 12.7 Detroit is great. Wish your FLD had one. They get better mileage than the 3406B Cat, I would say. Fleet Nav Systems stepped away. They are back for your questions. I know how to order a beer in German, Spanish, French, and Greek. Is that bad? Well, you're pretty much covered. You've covered Europe, your walk of Europe. GP Transco's headed to a meeting. All right, thanks for being here. I'll see you shortly. Good morning. Someone just got a CDL. That's awesome, but hasn't been start working for a company. Do you still have to register for the FMCSA? Well, yes, you especially do, because you're required now to register. Every company now starting today is required to query to check the database to see information about you. So you'll have to be in the database for them to check it. Our company's going to be checking it. Who knows if they're up on it or not? But if they are, they're required to check that database. So you should go register. It only takes a few minutes. and it's free, so it won't be any problem. You can fly domestic with a passport card. All right, so if you get dropped off in the Bahamas or something like that from your cruise ship, you're going to need a passport to get yourself back. Roller, Wiener, or cat break, we can do that. Well, we didn't see Bridget today, so it's a cat I used to have. I watched this cat for somebody for a short time. Bridgie, she's not here right now. She went back to her mom, and Gracie wasn't happy when she was here, so that worked out good. Miles per gallon is everything. Very few hoods are seen anymore. Yes, the miles per gallon are what's going to make you some money. Thanks to Mark for even telling us, or me at least. All right. 1984 was the last year for the round headlights. 85 started the square ones. All right, on trucks. So this one's an 84 or older, we're saying. I put over 2,800 hours into American Truck Simulator before deciding to do the real deal with England. Why? Wow. Learned more from the game than I did at England school. That's something. On that American Truck Simulator, do they use actual trucking companies? Like, are there England trucks and stuff in there, or is it just trucks? I don't know that much about it. So, D.A. Simon, your ex-girlfriend's son speaks Farsi and works for the government. That's pretty cool. Beg to differ, drove a brand new Freightliner, had square headlights. There's the square versus round debate, like the octane debate, which I wrote some information about that down here, the cetane. I work for Chima out of Sumner, Washington. I like them flexible, consistent, or easy to get along with. I never heard of that place. Is that place really big? Alexander, I know how to cuss in Norwegian. Not that I ever need to know how to. I had a grandfather who was from Norway. I think that's pretty good. People would have no idea what you're saying. They'd have to get out the Google Translate, which I think is some of the solution now to different languages, really. Because I tried it with my friend, my Romanian friend, and he said it worked pretty good. He would speak Romanian, and it would translate back, and then I would speak English into it, and it would speak to him in Romanian. It's not great like on Star Trek where you just hear it, but it's pretty good. It is the beginning of you hearing another language, and he said it worked good enough to understand, so not bad. That's a personal test of how it did Romanian to English, English, Romanian. There are plenty of hoods with pre-emissions and big gears. You won't see them if you drive for a mega car on a regular route. They pull side dump and end dumps where the fuel match doesn't matter as much either, probably. England had a yard south of Atlanta where I trained. It's closed now. That's too bad. Miles per gallon is nothing in a lot of specialized trucking. That's true. If you don't need the miles per gallon, if you're making enough or whatever, then it doesn't matter. Caleb is going over the Mackinac Bridge waiting on a pilot car. What are you taking way the heck up there? And how much is the bridge now to cross? I had to register as a carrier and driver for the clearinghouse. Why? The way I get random tested is I'm on your customer's DOT testing program. Oh, because you have authority. Okay, so you're both. You literally test yourself on there. I love it. I play a game with online translate. It works really good. Yeah, I think the Google on your phone, if you go to Google Translate, it works. He said it works good enough to understand, which is pretty good in case you encounter somebody that doesn't speak English, but you'd like to know what they'll say. It'll recognize the language that they're speaking. Pretty interesting. It's like the babble fish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. All right, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I'm not sure about that. But, of course, the Universal Translator on Star Trek. The game has its own companies for licensing. For example, Walmart is called Walbird. Okay, well, I didn't know if companies paid. I've seen some of these other games and Need for Speed, and that companies pay to be in the game. So a company could pay to have their advert in that game as an actual company. But that's pretty good. Maybe they don't think they're recruiting people out of the game, and maybe they should get in there. TJ Jones on the Bull of the Woods. Good morning from Wisconsin. All right. Give me some of those cheese curds. Bring them down here. You could still order round headlights on pizza. I see people switch them out now. Thanks for your answers and Geeks Trucking. All right. Yeah, good. You're welcome. With Google Translate, that's how I was able to communicate with people at ARCA. Oh, that's pretty good. People at the trucking company should speak English. The same with the drivers. Have to speak English, certainly enough to at least talk to you, you know. The Mackinac Bridge is $25 each way. All right. Drop a load at Dollar Tree. 5 miles south of Canada. Why do you need what am I thinking here? Why do you need a pilot car if you're going to a Dollar Tree? What are you taking to Dollar Tree where you need a pilot car to go across the bridge? What's Swift called? Oh, no, don't hit me's. What's Swift called? I don't. Isn't it oversized? I've crossed a bridge in a car up there in Mackinac Bridge. Can you not just drive over that bridge? Werner should buy the Celadon terminal place in Indy. The terminal they have now is trash. I was putting this out there. I thought maybe one of you might want to buy it and start a company. It's 103 acres right in the center of town there, close to 65 and 70. A lot of buildings. You could buy all the trucks, basically start your own company. Just put a 2 on them, call it Celadon 2. That way you don't have to repaint all the trucks and everything. Just get a bunch of 2 stickers. Nathan, how late am I? Sorry, North Dakota checking in. Yeah, well, we're running a little early today because of a job change that I had just this week and next week. Then we will be back to normal time in 2 weeks on the 20th. Oh, there's high winds across the bridge today. And so what is the pilot car going to do for you? Going over the Mackinac Bridge in high winds, what good's a car going to do? Are they just going to keep everybody away from you so that when you flip over, I guess, you don't crush anybody? Or you go over the side and then nobody else goes with you? All right, well, that's at least they're thinking of something that they could do for you. Let's see me put this up here. Right. So I wanted new people that have come in my flu shot saga. I got to get this out there because people need to know. So I went to Christmas. Kids are sick, of course. I get sick. I had a doctor's appointment scheduled for Tuesday of last week already, pre-scheduled. So I go in. Doctor wants me to take a flu shot. She's like, oh, you can take a flu shot. You don't have a fever. So I'm like, all right, well, you're a doctor. So I take my flu shot. Bingo. By Wednesday, I'm super sick. And it's a day off for me at least. It's New Year's Day. Thursday, still super sick. Had to go in because I would lose Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because Tuesday and Wednesday are paid holidays for me. And I said fever, chills, and everything. The flu shot gave me the flu because I was already sick. So what I'm saying, do not get a flu shot if you're already sick, no matter what the goofy doctor says. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. She made me sick. I don't care what she says. I'm still sick today from that. And tomorrow's been a week. It's crazy. It's crazy how long you get sick from that if you're already sick. I won't get another one unless I'm 100%. Driving down I-75 in Ohio, saw a Celadon trailer being pulled by Venture Express. I do know that other people have written in and have seen other companies. I think what they're doing is getting companies that are in Indianapolis and having them pull the trailers back to Indianapolis. That's what I'm thinking. Venture has a big terminal there. It's right off the interstate by the, down by the truck stop or whatever. You can see their terminal there, so going down through the bypass. There's about 7-foot waves from the wind going over the Mackinac Bridge. Yikes. You would, but you already live in Mississippi. I don't think Indy is a big upgrade. Well, I mean, you could hire somebody to run it. Kelly, make sure and download the offline language pack in case you cannot get an internet signal. Well, yeah, if you're into that, right, I agree. I didn't think about that, but that's a good idea. Ganworth, mark your funny reference to the number 2 on the truck. Well, rather than, I'm just trying to save you some painting money. You can stick a 2 on there or whatever, or 2 Celadon or whatever, and now it's a totally different name, right? Maybe we could hashtag them, and it could be hashtag Celadon. Big Mike Journey just said goodbye to Over the Road and went local. More pay and less headache. Love it. It's pretty good. I think most people, once they go to a local, most people, other than Geeks Trucking, I think, pretty much stick to it. Chain to the car for extra weight. Oh, that's pretty good. They put the car on the side and chain it on there. Yeah, you might need to, apparently. Still giving demerits for being late, even though you went on early? No, not today, because people didn't know I would be early. So, Swift name should do, we hose them and how. Love it. And they're not near as bad as most of these places I found. Doesn't matter what language you speak, dispatch won't understand you. They won't care to understand you. My secret to never being sick is to just not get sick. I wish. That's why I don't go to Christmas a lot. Because people, I think, that's just how I see it, that people are kind of irresponsible with their kids. If your kid is super sick and you bring them somewhere with a large gathering, you're going to get everybody sick. And that's not right to do to the rest of us. So keep your kid home, but they don't. And so my wife won't drive at night now, though, really. And it's we went a ways, not far, an hour. But she would have had to come back at night. So I went, and I ended up being sick for well over a week now because of it. I thought Yugos are the only vehicle to go over the Mackinac. Nice. I almost bought a Yugo in the late 80s. Honestly, lying there. Haven't had a flu shot in 30 years and never been sick. I usually get one, but Getting one when you're sick apparently is not a great plan. Which doctor treated you for the flu, Dr. Phil? I mean, I'm going to have to ask her, look, did you go to, in some other country and get your doctor's license? What is going on with that? Can't pay bills driving a truck? I don't know about that, Wayne. It depends where you work and what your bills are, I guess. Shouldn't get vaccines anyway. I usually get the flu shot, though. I don't get the shot just as the last time. I had the same bad reaction as you, and it's only 50% effective. They did say this year that it wasn't going to be that effective, which I talked to her about. She's like, oh, well, we have to get it, and so you should get it. And I'm like, all right, I'll get it. But I'm not doing it again. Dang doctors. Sitting around 6 out of 8 days barely pays your phone bill. Well, you should. If you're at a place that sits you 6 out of 8 days, I think everybody 100% would agree you should go work somewhere else. Certainly. Good afternoon, my trucker brothers. This is your last week doing Over the Road. You're going to go local in Chicago. All right. Member of TAS. All right. Hourly Chicago. I did that. It's a lot of traffic, but well worth it. Hal John's trained in India, and some were rebel flags, and I saw in Mississippi. Well, people do like to hang them up here from their homes, and in the summers, they put them in their pickup truck beds and fly gigantic flags out of the back of their trucks. Google Translate isn't 100%, but pretty close. It's how I would communicate with my in-laws in Nicaragua, but now you know Spanish. That's true. And he did say, my friend said in Romanian, it's not 100%, but he could understand it. We could talk using that, and rather than having to know each other's languages. So it was enough to be able to speak. Now, I don't know if it does stuff like super complicated things, but general conversation, conversational language, it did enough to work, and I was pretty impressed with it, considering it's free. You want regional so you can get more sleep. Isn't it great? That's part of the deal. Kenworth Rudder gets the flu shot and gets sick after every time. Isn't it crazy? What is the point of getting the shot? Oh, you don't want the flu later. We'll give it to you right now. So you're giving demerits. Well, is this a Gracie period for the 2 weeks? Yes. Because I have to change times. Exactly. It is as I look by things here that I moved around. And Gracie will consider what you've said as well. That's what she thinks about starting early. She's very tired. Actually, I hear her over there crunching some of her food. Being local, I feel like part of a team instead of always feeling like me versus dispatch. Okay, well, Big Mike, I will say that depends, right? When I go in, not this week because I'm earlier, but normally I go in a little bit later, I don't see anybody. I don't feel like I'm part of a team at all. I feel like it's me. I go in and get in the truck and leave because it's just me. And when I come back at night, they're still not back open yet. So I don't ever see really anybody. This will be the first week in a while I've actually seen anybody. It's 30% effective this year, the flu shot, and then as low as 15% last year. Wonderful. I did not get it last year and did not get sick. I completed by switch to Schaefer and have never been happier. Treated like a professional here. That's what all places should strive to do. I think if they would just do a little bit of that, they wouldn't have any turnover problems like they do. Kim, what is the best company sponsoring a CDL? What do we think about that here? I think the flu shot's attracting the flu. I think you shouldn't get it if you're sick. Yikes. I don't know. I could pay your bills working at Smith without problems. I even have money left over. Well, I guess it depends on how your bills are, but if you sit 6 days out of 8, you need to get the heck out of there. Although my best friends were from Hammond, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, Hammond is the place to be. Get it via your state's unemployment. That's exactly the best way to do it is have the state pay for school, and then you don't have to worry about a company. It does seem like it was to line the doctor's pockets because there's no, she should almost be disbarred or whatever. What's the best company sponsoring? Here it is again. Go to your state's Department of Unemployment. Let them pay for your truck school. I think a lot of drivers are their own worst enemy when they sit and wait for only the high-paying loads rather than roll with what's available and profitable. There's somebody I haven't seen today, but Cash is King Trucking, he does a lot of that. He will, meaning he will find a load that gets him to a higher-paying load rather than sitting. And overall, then, he ends up making more money. I don't know. I'm not an owner-operator, so that does seem like a better way. In 30 years, you've never had a problem with the flu shot. Have you gotten the flu shot in 30 years? Big Huge Mike, hello. I prefer going when dispatch's not around. It's less demands on me. I could just do my job and go home. Yes, you just go in and the paperwork's in the outbound. Grab that, get your trailer, and leave. Exactly. There's nobody there. That's perfect. Are you going to sell Gracie's body after she dies to Panda Express? That's not nice. Really. I keep all my cats here. I take them to the vet for their last trip, and they are all still here with me, every one of them. And I keep their food bowl, too. Big Nate, what did you miss? Oh, well, it's a regular show of me being sick and just discussing trucking things. Good evening. Chilling in a company-paid hotel for $34, bored out of my mind. Oh, all right. Well, why are they company paying it? I guess that's better than staying in the truck. At least you're not sitting 6 days out of 8. I don't know. Are you rolling the rest of the time at least? At least they're paying for the motel. I never had a problem with the flu shot. I have this odd psychological urge for roller wieners. I wish it gave you that. You're not hungry or anything. Big Mike, maybe because I'm at a warehouse place that has their own trucks that it makes a difference. Look, I like going in when there's nobody around because I'm just there. I guess I don't see it like a lot of people where it's some kind of lifestyle or whatever. It's a job. I go in to do my job and then I leave. And so that's fine with me and them. I don't need them to tell me what to do. I do the same thing every day and I don't need to see them for anything unless there's some kind of an issue, which is rare. Because I was thinking about this before. Last year, I probably had 10 hours of detention time all year. And I get paid for all my detention. And none of it was waiting for a trailer. It was all for breakdowns. So the only detention I got was breakdown pay last year. And it was maybe 10 hours. Otherwise, the work went pretty good every day. I didn't really have any problems. And I think I like doing that because it raises your hourly rate because you don't have all this sitting around time. And that gets you back home because you're not at your job to just sit there, certainly. You're there to work or whatever, and then off work you can do whatever you want, Have a good day and be safe. You're out. Thanks for being here, Ken with Ryder. Appreciate it. Okay, you get one every year and having a problem. You must not have gone in when you're sick. Don't get a shot when you're sick. Most local companies want you to use your personal cell phone to use the Google map and do local deliveries all day. Well, our tablet has a built-in, GPS Garmin one that I don't like. So you could do that, but it depends on local deliveries. Do evenings, you can do a line haul. I go do one drop and hook at the same place every day. And I just go down and go find an empty and come back. So you could do that kind of thing and you wouldn't have to worry about using your own cell phone. There's all kinds of different ways to do road, regional, local. There's lots of different ways to do everything. If you have a limited data plan, do you think we should spend more money switching to unlimited data plan to get a job? I don't have an unlimited plan. I have a 20 gigabyte or whatever, and then they start cutting you. It's not an unlimited. I'm on a super old AT&T plan. You're not going to need that much data unless you stream music. I listen to podcasts, which I download at home on Wi-Fi, and I have tons of them downloaded on there. And I just listen to those. It doesn't take any data. Depends what you do with your phone. But you don't need an unlimited data plan to get a job. Kelly, virus mutate approximately every 20 minutes. Yikes. That's one reason for vaccine failure. Others would be if you become infected with the bacterial type. That's wonderful. So basically I'm a mutant. That's what I'm thinking. Did Gracie get a flu shot? Hansely, no. She did not get a flu shot. The vet did not have her get one. She will think about getting one, though. She goes in twice a year for her vet visits. So she'll be going here probably a couple more months to see what the vet thinks. Doctors get bonuses from drug companies for every shot they give. That I believe. Barry, after troubleshooting, I finally got my new CB setup tuned and grounded. Hate not having a CB. Yeah, now you can head out to Ontario and join the fun in Ontario. Jason, I could make more money if I went farther, but I like to be home every night, and it kind of equals out. I don't spend anything out to eat. There's that, too. People think, oh, you make less. Well, I know, but you can bring a sack lunch, and you don't have to spend any money, and laundry and all that. There's a lot of pluses, but you don't get to see everything. Cash is King Trucking, I was just talking about you. I'm here. I'm late because of a pin spring on trailer broke, so can't slide tandems, and I'm overweight on the trailer. That sounds like a disaster. We need to get, that's not your trailer, right? So let's get somebody out there and fix that. Real deal in Sierra, England. That's an oxymoron. Big Huge Mike got the flu shot once and got very sick. That's what I'm saying. Haven't had a flu shot again. In 10 to 15 years, I get sick once a year, and that's good enough. I agree. Maybe I shouldn't get it anymore at all. This has been a disaster. I just had 40 hours of detention. Yikes. That's 4 years for me. Stay Mav. Mark, a car hit me from behind in Texas. I live in California. Nice. No one was hurt. Do I still have to report it to the DMV? Well, you don't report anything. The cops are the ones that report it. Did the cops do anything? I don't report anything. The cops did the cops come? Darnell ran my 70 all the way down to 2 hours. Yikes. Over 3,500 miles this week. Got a load waiting when I come back up at 3 a.m. All right. Well, at least they're moving you. If that's what you're wanting and they're moving you, that's pretty good. Now, at 2 cents, you'd make $70 on the GP Transco camera program. Michael Muller, doctor's job is not to get you healthy. Their job is to get well enough so you have to come back a week or two to make money. Sick people are doctors' paychecks. That does seem true because I do have to go back. You guys never noticed that around every Chinese restaurant you don't see any cats or dogs? Well, yeah, there is that deal. Alexander, despite being over the road, I go to a lot of the same places. There's sometimes when I don't even bother with the GPS. Eventually, if you'll stay somewhere at almost every company, you get to know where the places are that they go because they get the loads out of the same places. That's another good reason to stay somewhere for more than a month or two because you'll get to know where their places are. I do like to use Google Maps for traffic. Okay, so if I'm on the interstate, which I do on the way back usually, I run Google Maps traffic to see what is going on. But otherwise, no. What kind of podcast do I listen to? Well, I listen to Car Talk, which I like from NPR. Wait, Don't Tell Me. I listen to Handle on the Law, which is a great legal show. I listen to a number of things like Dan Locke. I listen to that podcast. I listen to Courageously Confident podcast. You should check that one out. I listen to Every Day is Saturday podcast. That is one of the greatest podcasts ever. Straight Talk from Walmart, unlimited data, $55. All right. Except I don't ever go into Walmart, so I don't know how I get that. You'll need data if you want to watch your show for the entirety. That is true. Well, that's a good reason to do it. You could always watch it later, though, on Wi-Fi. My wife likes, does Gracie tested for catnip? She should. She loves it. I hate when... And now I have to increase her testing this year to 50%. She signed up in the cat drug database. Rumpelstiltskin, I hate when shippers, receivers take our keys and make us wait in the driver's lounge. It's like being 3. Yes, that's stupid. And that's all on duty time. So I think because they're making you have to stay there and wait. So you can't be off duty because you don't have the choice to do whatever you want in your free time. Trucker Bill Bailey has unlimited with Verizon. You have grandfathered unlimited. Jason Business from Verizon, $45 unlimited. Oh, that's nice. You use 200 gigabytes? I used like 12 gigabytes last month. Michael Muller, lucky you are younger than your wife. Me too. Roller Wiener Monday and Elvis' birthday in the same week. What a country. Oh, is his birthday coming up? I forgot all about that. Right. That means I'll have to sing My Way. Cassius King, so the carrier I'm leased to paid to have the TA help me slide the tandems all the way to the rear. Then I explained that's not legal. It's wrong way back to the shipper. Yeah, you can't, depending where you are, you can't roll them all the way back. I have had one flu shot at 59 years. I got sick soon thereafter. It's almost not worth doing it. But see, my wife got a shot this year, and she's had no problems. If you have a dog, some customers would rather you wait with the dog in the truck than have you come inside. Worst case, they'll ask you to leave. Oh, that's interesting. What do you do if you have to be in there a long period of time? Darnell, what would you bring up? No cats or dogs around Chinese restaurant? Yikes. Well, you're eating sweet and sour chicken. I like sweet and sour pork. I think that's better. So Wait, Don't Tell Me live. Oh, that'd be great to see that show. Right. I love that. I listen to it every week, except when they'll do a rerun show, which they've done a couple weeks now. So I'm hoping for them to get back to their normal shows. I go to Tyson and they have you wait outside the truck while they check the seals because a creek driver decided to slide his tandem to the gate and hit the security guard. What the heck are we doing here? Does nobody think about safety at all? Come on. I like how Google Maps is interactive. You can find out everything from the speed traps. Yeah, they just started that because they bought Waze. I did see that. I don't need the speed trap part of it. You have not mentioned Jay at Auto Transport Intel. I do need to do that. I like to put Jay out there. You should watch the show live at 8 p.m. Central Time because he lives in Central Time. I keep want him to have him move over here, but he won't. But anyway, Jay does a live show on YouTube right here at 8 p.m. Central. Go check him out and get some business coaching. Want to start a business. Otherwise, Jay will write to me too. Sorry I'm late. Is there any news on the barbecue trucker not getting hired? No, and he hasn't been on here today. So I was hoping to see him today because of the no recent work history, but I haven't seen him today. So I don't know what they're going to do, or I haven't heard from him. Alexandra has an unlimited plan with Verizon. You have 64 gigabyte tablet, which I run your TV streaming. Oh, you get all the St. Louis Blues games. All right. But you're out there and using all the data. Yikes. Right, so you're in Wisconsin, and it's 43 feet, kingpin to the center rear axle. So you can't run all the way back down there. I went with the Verizon Unlimited, too many games or of golf. Clash, did you in games of, oh, okay, got it. I don't have cable, so the wife watches TV via streaming. You don't have cable. Holy moly. How do you get through life? Because eventually we will move down to the Huntingburg area in Indiana, and that's the first thing I look at when we're looking at houses and stuff is, what's the internet situation? Rumpelstiltskin, I understand that, but we should all degraded due to a few imbeciles. That's true, right? Haven't seen Barbecue Trucker in here yet. Today he's not here today. I wonder what happened to him. Anyone got any info on the charter bus, a big truck crash? On the Pennsylvania Turnpike, there was a crash between a charter bus and a number of trucks. It happened at like 3 in the morning this weekend, and 3 people dead. Dozens are in the hospital. People on here have said it was the bus's fault. I didn't read that in what I read, but people on here were saying that they've released that it's the charter bus's fault causing this accident. I don't know what happened. It looks like a mess. There was one here in Indiana as well in Whitestown, Indiana, if anybody saw that yesterday. The road was closed for 5 hours. That's at the 865-65 joining on the north side of town. A truck driver ran into slowed traffic, crushed a car. A baby, like a little baby, and two 21-year-olds are dead. He admitted to the police that he was putting his coffee down, wasn't watching where he's going. Bingo, arrested. 3 counts of reckless homicide, and those are felonies, of course. He's done. But what's worse than that is 3 people are dead because of what he says is he's not looking. Please pay attention and watch what you're doing. We don't want to be killing anybody. Also, the other side of it is that could be you in that car. And here's Billy Big Rigger putting his coffee down. Oh, I got my 64-ounce coffee. You need to put that down. Boom, you're dead. So whatever it is you want to do, go do it. Go do it. What are we waiting for? Tomorrow, you might not have a tomorrow. You don't know how many more. Oh, I'll do this later. I'll do it. Go do it today. You want to go skydive? Go skydive. You want to go climb Mount Everest? Go do it. Whatever you want to do, do it. Do not wait. You want a better job? Go get it. Do something else? Go. What if Google Maps showed all the roller wiener locations? That would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? It could have a hot dog with an air on the end of it. You don't need cable. You can stream anything. I can't get my shows that I like to watch, though, and we tape stuff. Right. Plus, I need fast internet access. Someone needs to make a roller wiener app. I know. Where are our app developers? George Wilson is having computer issues. You're going to hang out as long as you can. I appreciate it. Do you have to stay on duty or getting loaded? Yes, unless you are off duty, which would mean you can decide to do things of your own choosing, like leave the property. So if they say, if you go, I'm going to go see a movie, and they go, all right, we'll see you later, that might be one thing. But if you're still on the property, you're on duty. Who needs cable when you have Mark at Truck Answers? I appreciate it. You'll need at least unlimited internet, though. Cash is king. Oh, you went around that accident. It took 74 to 267. It was a mess. The road was closed for most of the day yesterday. What a disaster. The driver gets arrested and people are dead. And 14 other people, according to the thing, 14 people are in the hospital. 14 people went to the, besides the 3 dead people. It doesn't matter who's at fault. The hammer will represent both sides. Believe me, these people are already getting letters. And like Ken Nunn, for people that live here in Indiana, he already has your accident report. So just give him a call. You don't remember All the Family, do you meet at? Oh, yeah, All in the Family, of course. Money for the hammer. Well, look, this kind of thing, though, shouldn't there be some kind of payment when the driver is admitting what he did here. I mean, you killed 3 people and a bunch of other people. The company's only got at least $1 million at the most, probably, insurance. $750 if they're not hazmat, and that's got to be spread against a lot of people. That's a problem. Todd's on your way to effing him. Oh, I love it. Kelly has unlimited through T-Mobile and usually run 100 gigabytes a month. Man, you people, with your data. You're using all the data. There's not going to be any data left for the rest of us. There's only so many datas around. There are only so many. And so if you take all of them, I'm not going to have any to use. What's up with the federal judge putting the law on hold about the employees in California? Oh, right. I did have that written down. AB 5's on hold, which I knew a bunch of people would sue. AB 5 is on hold at the moment. To be decided. So at now, it's just as if it was still December 31st in California. A judge did a temporary restraining order to hold it up. That's going to come, though. Their day in court is coming. Alexander has an app called YouTube TV, and I have it set up for the St. Louis area code. You can get that app for $50 a month and share it with up to 6 family members. How would they get it on their device? $50 a month. DirecTV on AT&T is completely data-free. All drivers hold your heads high around 2020 for trucking. Love it. I actually share my account with my sister, her husband, and nephew. And so it's all $50. They all get all unlimited on that. Company called Central Transport. Is that the yellow truck, Zell, the Central Transport? They don't pay overtime, correct? They pay straight hourly. Jeff, I'm waiting for a response from Swift. I'm paying the difference on having my own room at the motel. I'd rather not share a room with a random person for the 3 weeks of training. The thing is, Jeff, it will probably share it with 4 people. That's what people usually write to me. You're in the room, and then that person gets fired or quits or whatever. You get somebody else. They come in. Yeah. They should give you your own room. I don't drink coffee. Plus, I feel my water bottle. I don't even have to look. I didn't understand it. That's what the police said that in the article, that the driver said he was putting his coffee down, and then next thing he knows, there's all this traffic. So I don't know how long you have to not be looking at the road. Who knows what he was doing? He's in jail. And people are dead. That's the big thing. Do you think we'll see the Roaring 20s? I hope so. I'm bringing back, I started wearing a zoot suit on the 1st of January, so yeah. I think Mark should get his own channel on Sirius XM. That'd be a lot of fun because I will tell you, listen to the trucking channel. We have it in the cars. And the trucking channel on Sirius is not great in the fact that a lot of people on that channel aren't truck drivers. Kevin Rutherford is a driver, owns trucking companies, but I mean, he's been a driver. Like I was listening to Nemo or one of those shows, and they were talking about this drug and alcohol clearinghouse and the way it related to Celadon. This is one thing that I remember. And he said, oh, well, Celadon should have already registered those drivers before they closed. Well, it isn't up to Celadon to register the drivers for the drug and alcohol clearinghouse. He doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not a driver. He's a radio announcer and host and journalist and all that for his whole life. He's not right on that. So he's putting that information out there as if the company registers you. They don't. They have to check on you, and Celadon didn't register drivers. It's not their job to register the drivers. So I would like to see better information put out on that channel with a lot less interjection of just an opinion of, oh, I think this is how it is. And then it turns out, oh, that's not correct. And they're like, oh, all right. But nobody corrected him because nobody knew anything about it. The guests that he had on, also not drivers. And I hear that a lot on there. Who's dumb enough to pay for radio? I've been paying for satellite radio for I don't know how long. I love it. It's $5 a month. You ain't, as they say, you ain't got $5. Come on, Roger Penske. You got $5. It's $5 a month. D.A. Simon, note to self. First person you talk to is your lawyer. I don't know why people are talking. Okay, do not talk to the police. I never had a cup of coffee in my life. I'm not a coffee drinker either. I don't drink any coffee, so. Zell, the yellow trucks, right. And it's hourly, but not overtime. At least that's what they advertise in Indianapolis. And the trucks are kind of old looking. I got a second smartphone with a 128 gigabyte card full of music hooked up to the truck. That's a nice way to do it. I talked to Central Transport, Cash is King, a couple years back in Minneapolis, and they pay overtime after 45 hours. But the line haul is mostly mileage, so you never get 45 hours. Okay, sweet. Stay Mav. You're going above and beyond by helping the drivers. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate it. James Faust is out. Thanks for all you do, Mark. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here today. Just pay for a room. Why risk losing a laptop or phone? That's the other thing. You lose all your stuff. You got somebody going through there. Fleet Nav is headed out today. Thanks as always for the great info. Everybody's headed out. Thank you for being here. While Bill appreciates me, I appreciate you saying that and for being here every week, tolerating my foolish puns. Central Transport makes you wait 3 weeks for your first check. What the hell does that work? They're not allowed to do that. They have to pay you the following Friday after your payday. How do they do that? No direct deposit. What do they mail a check to your house? The Central Transport is not a small place. They don't have direct deposit. Darnell, that's why I installed a cup holder on your driver door. Don't have to look down. Exactly. Even so, how long does it take to put a coffee down? And if it's your truck, you know where the coffee thing is, the cup holders and all that. How hard is this? Alexander, it's up to $50 for 6 different accounts. You can download the app on your phone or tablet and have TV on the go. What kind? But is it all channels? I mean, I have a lot of channels here. Let's be honest about it. Rumpelstiltskin has a lot of data on his phone. When you're parked at a truck stop, their Wi-Fi makes your data slow. It's a conspiracy. Well, I wouldn't hook up to a public Wi-Fi probably, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the companies have to register their employees and the drivers have to register themselves. The drivers, but what he was saying on the show is that, the drivers don't have to do anything because the company registers you in there. No, they query the database for you once a year starting today, but they can do it any time between now and next year at this date. But they are looking for you. So if you're not in there, there's nothing for them to see. You have to register in the database. And what the show was saying, which I don't remember which show it was, right? Evening show, but not the OIDA show, that, Celadon's already done that for those people, so they don't have to worry about it. No, you still have to be in there. And especially all those Celadon drivers now, starting today, have to be in there because companies starting today are required to look at the database for all new hires. Alexander, when I went to school for U.S. Express, they stuck you in a room by myself because the people in the HR department didn't know what make perks of being a trans, I suppose. Well, I guess at least you got the benefit of being by yourself. Even so, look, no matter what you are, you're better off being by yourself. And let's be honest, who wants to share a room with just somebody? This isn't Boy Scouts, right? I mean, you want your own room. That's what a professional does. The CEO of U.S. Express doesn't share a room when that person travels, which I don't know who it is, right? Watch YouTuber Saznak wreck his custom sleeper Pete by putting his coffee down. That's sweet. Maybe he should be careful about that. I complained at a Love's once because the Wi-Fi was out. They gave you a year of premium free. Really? So just go in and complain that the Wi-Fi is not working, apparently. I had to choose between AAA and Central Transport. AAA Cooper had less loading. I didn't know Central did loading. I assumed they worked like all these other local places. So at night, you had line haul, which is what I'm saying is probably better because there's less waiting. Junior, hello, everyone. Hey, Mark, what's going on? Canadian Tanker Yankers here. Hello, it's good to see you. Cash is King. The big turnoff at Central was the fact that they pay 3 weeks behind. I can't understand that. I can survive 3 weeks, but I'm not a big fan of loaning your company money. They do that so you won't quit on them because you're never going to get those last checks. That cannot be legal. You're required, at least in Indiana, to be paid on the following Friday after your pay week. They can't hold your check for 3 weeks, be paying it now for Christmas week. Where do I find the Hours of Service new book? Nowhere yet, Eduardo. There's no new Hours of Service. So they're talking about it, and they may actually not have one this year. Dave Johnson, was there a cutoff date for the clearinghouse program? Well, it starts today. It goes live today, they were saying, and that should be it. It's live today. But you can sign up anytime. If you're not looking for a job, you don't actually have to sign up today. Mark, they tell all of you have to fill out a long 15-page application. Their trucks are governed at 60. I do pass them a lot at night in all manuals, which is okay with me. Al John's not into loading trucks. Yeah, I don't think it pays enough, and I think it wastes a lot of time. DA is drinking a Starbucks. I hope you put it down correctly. Do you remember the roll of duct tape as a cup holder? I've had many of those kind of cup holders. Kelly, I pay for Mom's YouTube TV app, and along with it, you get virtual DVR recordings. Oh, that'd be pretty good. I guess I could Chromecast that back to the TV then. Kyle, I'm glad Sasnick walked away from that. I dang near was bad when I saw the truck after the wreck. I don't understand people doing that. I've 70 movies in your movie bolt, 9 different shows that you watch, 5 sports teams, and even get 60 or so channels on top of it. That's a lot. I wonder if that would have, like on the weekends, I watch the Power Block on. It's on Motor Trend TV now. Like, so that's a channel. Can you get that? I tape 4 shows on that every week. I've taped them since they were on TNN. Remember that network? Do you have to stay on duty, not driving while getting loaded? Yes, you should be on duty unless you are free to pursue activities of your own choosing, which includes going to the theater, going to a Broadway play, going shopping. Most places don't allow you to do that, so that would mean you're still on duty. I worked CT Extra Board 9192. Wow. We were in Teamsters, and they were bad then and was a P&D driver in Chicago. So even as Teamsters, you'd think they would have been better. A phone in one hand and Starbucks in the other is a recipe for disaster, as the album says. Darnell Central trucks on Memphis are 65. At 68, I catch it trying to pass some of them. Oh, that's pretty good. I know in Indiana they're not 65, at least going down 70, because I generally can pass them. And I'm stuck at 65 here. So there's no question about that. Did his sleeper look like this? Yikes. How about that crash? Oh, and here's the new, for all my fans of Teslas, which there's always some that always get excited. Here's a Cummins semi. It's electric. It's the AEOS, A-E-O-S. An electric semi. There we go. How about this? That truck has a 100-mile range, so that's pretty good. 165 kilowatt battery and a 100-mile range. That's pretty awesome, huh? It is pretty futuristic looking. I will give it that. But the 100-mile range kind of limits it. They said there are ways that they're going to be upgrading and putting larger batteries in it. But right now, 165-mile-an-hour range. They said a 1-hour charge at high speed. So you can drive an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then charge for an hour. So that's pretty good. I would say it's pretty good. Cummins. I didn't know they were making trucks, but that's what they have right now. Cummins. 100-mile range. There's always Tesla people that love the electric stuff, though. You should always log on duty during loading and unloading. Some drivers go off duty to save the clock. Right, they do that, but all you're doing then, right, when you do that, is giving your company free time. And that isn't any good. We shouldn't try to give them any more free time. You want to give them less time so that you get paid for all your time. TNN's the Nashville Network. Oh, you remember it. Finally, somebody. Alexander, do we get a new green FMCSA safety handbook? I don't know. You know, it is funny. The old one is old, and I don't know what year they come out. They don't seem to come out every year. I just carry the old one with me, and if there's ever new ones out there on the table or whatever, I grab one. I'll have to look that up. I don't know what year they come out. It doesn't seem like it's all the time. Going to lunch for salmon. Oh, nice. In Seattle. Nice. But money. Good. Sure, they can upgrade to longer lasting batteries, but require a 53-foot trailer. They actually said they can put solar panels on the trailer to help with range. And they were considering a range extender, kind of like a Volt on it, to see how that works. Not too bad. Looks a little like a ProStar. Yeah, I thought maybe it was based on an International, but they didn't say how they did it. 4,038 days till the end of the planet. How come on that specific day the planet ends? Will it fold up into a ball at that time from its flatness that it is now? And that's a long way away, right? 10, I don't know, I went to public school. That's like 6 years or something. I don't know how far that is. That's a long way, though. Who's coming on that day? What happens on that day? Is that the day the sun ends? I don't know. Don't forget to get your tickets to Matt's, too, as I always tell people every week. Get some tickets to Matt's so I can see you at the truck show. We'll say hello. We'll be walking around. Be sure to ask companies like England about why their trucks have 3 bunks. And go up to some companies and ask them if the drivers get paid for 100% of their time and see what they say when they start shaking in their boots. It's pretty much fun. I was live last year down there. I probably won't do that again this year. I was walking around with the phone. I'm probably not doing that this year. I think I have some other things planned, which should be even more fun. Alexander, I've opted to get the Motor Trend Network. Oh, so I could get that channel. Oh, you're saying it's 11 years? I don't know. I went to public school. I mean, my answer should be good enough, and I feel good about the answer. So I think that's still an A. Because the answer I gave, I feel good about. And that's what really matters, I think. Gracie's not really that impressed with my answer. As she looks down from her cat tree. That's pretty good. Ooh, I shouldn't get too fancy in my clicking. I'll get behind on what I'm doing. Back to work. Happy New Year. Everyone be safe out there. Keep trucking, Hunsley. I appreciate you being here. PeopleNet went down this week. Anybody have this PeopleNet problem? It went down. And drivers, they interviewed drivers on some of these CDL sites and stuff, and they were all freaked out like they don't know what they're doing. What should I do? You should just fill out a paper log. It's easy. You're required to have one with you. Take it out of wherever you keep it and use it and just keep driving. It's just as easy as that. The PeopleNet had a thing right on the front of it that said it was down. So just fill out a paper log and keep driving. Jeanette, hey Mark, hear about the prime driver Queen Trucking denied reentry to the training program due to her YouTube video post? No, what happened? That's pretty good. So she did videos and they won't let her train there? I mean, this is the problem with not releasing your company name necessarily, but making your company part of your videos, is that you can have this thing. I don't know what happened though. I'm waiting. I can't wait to see this. Queen Trucking. I'll write that down. And how did you hear about this? Did she say it? I can assume it's a person in there. Queen. Let's see. This is amazing. They're like, wow, we're watching Mark write things down on a piece of paper. So I wrote that down though. I'm going to look that up. But no, I didn't hear anything about it. We talked about this last week too, on cetane and octane. All right, so I got some information about cetane, which I thought was interesting because it matters to me. I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. So the BTU value of gasoline is 114,000 BTUs a gallon. Diesel is 129,500. And B100 is 118,300. It is less BTUs per volume than diesel. And so the Mythbusters did this with different ones, which is pretty interesting. Does a higher cetane get you any farther down the road? No, busted. They busted it. I found it right on there. So they actually did a test of that, and it doesn't increase the energy content of the fuel. So I thought that was pretty good that Mythbusters did it. It's a minimum of 40 in the United States and 45 cetane at most places, though. And B100 is only 50 cetane. It just works like octane in that it is an inverse. How did they write it right? It's an inverse function of the fuel's ignition delay. Okay, so higher octane delays ignition, higher cetane gives you better ignition than that too. So that's what it went. And the Mythbusters busted it, which I thought was pretty good. I believe in late George Carlin's theory on evolution of our planet. He was always great. The unfortunate problem that most new drivers weren't trained on how to do paper logs. Well, I will say the company should show you how to do it if you haven't done it. But look, the ELD shows you a log page on it. You can go back to that page, really. And honestly, there's tons of YouTube videos that probably you could watch in a few minutes and get your paper log going. Rumpelstiltskin, you went to public school. Everyone's a winner. I know. My answer was good. I felt good about it, and I still do. It's right. It's certainly close to being right, and that's good enough. Close is good enough. Now, Roger Penske, we're doomed. But 4,000 days is a long way away. There's also a difference between Air Force jet fuel from Navy jet fuel. Why is that? I can't wait to hear that, and I'll tell my wife the answer when I hear about it because she was in the Navy. And I got a brother-in-law that was in the Air Force, so that'll work out good. I'm sure there's a good answer to this. I'm very curious about Queen Trucking, though. And what were the videos about that, if you know anything about it, that stopped her from getting back into the training program at Prime? Was she griping about Prime or saying it's good or just saying the truth, like her opinion, no matter what? That's the thing of it. Even though if you don't like something at your company and you put it out there, they can, do this kind of stuff, not let you in training. They can fire you. So, which I've had people write to me about that kind of stuff. You have to be careful about it when they're part of your video. Not like if you're just showing the truck or something. But when you make them a focus of the video, then the company thinks like, hey, maybe you're speaking for us and we don't want you saying that because you're kind of using it in the video. I don't really recommend it to people unless it's necessary for what you're doing, especially like a review of your own company, unless it's going to be super great, is probably not recommended because companies like Prime go on YouTube and they look themselves up. Oh, look at what people are saying about us. Now, I could say what I want about them. I don't work there. Would they ever hire me? Probably not. That's fine with me. I probably would never call them. I know there have been people out here that say it's a great place. I don't like the fact that you team train there. I don't. And Prime can not be impressed with what I'm saying, and I don't care. But you team train, and I don't think that's really training when there's two of you in the truck and one of you sleeping. The driver, the student is not really being trained at all. I don't think that's a great way to get people trained to drive. No one would allow it anywhere else in any other industry. You couldn't, your kids, you wouldn't allow it. You wouldn't allow it if you went to a class, a cooking class, and the teacher's like, okay, here's how you do it, and it's all on paper here. I'm going to go to sleep. You guys make bread now. No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, no, I'm paying for this. I expect you to be up. But people do it at Prime and thinks like it's okay. It isn't okay, and they shouldn't do it. It just saves them money. It saves them money. If there's any Celadon drivers here, you have a job fair in 2 days online, put on by the state of Indiana. Be sure to go check for it, sign up for it, and get into it. There's going to be a ton of companies. If you haven't had a job yet, this has been a month now. You should already be working if you need a job, but no. When I went to public school, they said we were all losers. Oh, that's terrible. Well, they said we are all winners. If you watch Prime drivers on YouTube, they act like it's the best place to work and just recruit for Prime. Well, they get a lot of people do get a lot of recruiting bonus. But I think part of it is this kind of thing where they're like, look, you start saying bad stuff and you're going to have a problem. And so they tell everybody that at their orientations. I think it's how it is. I'm stuck between two scales, one in each direction with a load that's 34, 120. I picked the load up off the yard. Someone left you a pickle. That's not terrible on it. And 120 pounds, I mean, I don't know. Ralph, good afternoon. How's the cat? The cat, of course, is doing good. Watching people from the top of her cat tree. She's not at the top yet. There's another level above her. That's 72 inches. She's 5 feet up off the ground, though. And just waiting for you to wake up because she's looking at you in bed saying, it's time to feed me, which is all the time. She's back sleeping now, but she was crunching her food here a few minutes ago. She did, okay, Jeanette, right. She did disclose things about the trainer having sex in the bunk while he had her drive to the receiver. Wow. That would gross you out. That's the bunk she has to sleep in while team operating. Exactly. Well, what? So Prime is mad at her about that? Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, and why would you even consider staying there or anything beyond that? I mean, if she stays there beyond that, then I don't even know if I believe the story because there's so many jobs. Why would you even consider working for a company that treats you that way rather than firing the trainer? The Air Force uses JP4, Navy used JP5. Don't remember much more than that. Former EA6B Prowler mechanic. All right. I don't know what the difference in those two is. I would have to look that back up. I thought it was going to be some kind of good story about it. Alexandra, my driver trainer, insisted I do a paper log the entire time I was training. If she caught me getting behind in it, she would kick my butt. That's pretty good. But then now, though, if your PeopleNet or whatever ELD you use went out, you'd at least know what you're doing. I mean, so that was probably pretty helpful. George, got to go for now. Catch you on the back haul. On the way back, a few back hauls are worth the effort. Yeah, exactly. And thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Darnell, Prime drivers act like it's the best place to work until they get another job. Exactly. Because the thing is about jobs, everybody likes where they work, and that's great. And if you do like it, but people like at Western Express saying how great it is and they're getting 30 cents a mile, go look around. Go make 10 phone calls to other companies and then see if you really have a good job. You might. But you got to look at all these other places. While Bill has to roll, thanks. See you early next week. Be careful. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And it will be an early show next week. One more week only early. Cash King Trucking is asking the question I was hoping would not be asked. Oh, my gosh. And then this is a mobile question, which is even worse. Michael Muller will send a nice pic of the wrecked truck. Okay, yeah, I'd like to see it. In Wisconsin, that was $120. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to wait for the answer to this question, but that's the question that no one wanted to know the answer to. With the tandems all the way back, you're also over the link law. Yes, you have to, interesting. Yeah, you're overweight. See, if you weren't overweight, I'd probably go over the scale, because if they're not watching, they might not think that much about it. I don't know. I mean, the other option is to have them come and fix it where you sit, right? Have the company, it's not your trailer, so you could have them come and fix it. Hopefully you get, owning the truck, I don't know, though. Would you get detention time if you said, look, you got to come and fix it here, it's not legal, because you don't really have to drive it? Would you get paid for that time? Kay Wayne says it was with his wife. That isn't much better. Professional recruiters and massive employment. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one. But see, even with his wife, he should be fired immediately. Immediately. She shouldn't be getting any grief about it. I mean, that's the thing. All they want there, and a lot of these places, they just don't want bad news put out. They don't care about what's going on. They care about how it looks, not how it is. Why do people that work at bad companies pretend that they don't have negative reviews? Because then if they had to say, oh, this place isn't great, then they'd be like, well, wonder why I'm here. Why didn't he weigh? That's the problem. You get these drop loads that people drop and nobody cares. But he has a girlfriend in another state. Oh, that might be why the trainer's mad. Used to run stretched out Wisconsin. You had a daily run to Milwaukee. And there's that one scale there. But see, he's overweight too. He's over on the tandem. Not much, but enough where if they pulled him in, that's a double problem. You could get a double whammy. And what do we want? No whammies. That's right, no whammies. JP4, JP5 are jet engine fuel. JP4 is 65% kerosene and 35 gasoline, and JP5 is 100% kerosene. All right, I don't have the BTU of kerosene, only gasoline here, so I don't know what the difference would be. I would have to look that up. It would be an interesting lookup. I do like these kind of sciencey things that I have to look up and figure out. I think it's fun, but probably only for me, not for most people. Okay, I'm going to look this person up. I can't believe this, right? Oh, did you see this too as I get ready to close out? Trails West Express, I didn't mention this before, in El Paso. And there was an article about this. They're feeling the heat from the U.S.-Iran sanctions and what's going on over there because the price of diesel is up. And so, man, we just can't make any money. It was in a news thing in like Truckers News or one of those. And so I thought, wow, could that be the reason that they're not making money? And so when you do a 2-minute safer web search on them, and Trails West Express has had their authority revoked several times involuntarily. Well, maybe that's the reason that they can't get a lot of freight. If they can't keep their authority up, they only had like 9 pages of insurance or maybe a little less, but which is not a lot. I see a lot of places have more, but they have some canceled insurances. They're using OIDA for the insurance on their whole company, which they had 21 trucks according to their safer web, but they have authority involuntarily revoked and then restored like 4 months later, then involuntarily revoked a couple years later, then restored. That kind of thing. Maybe people should look into that and it was 2 minutes to look that stuff up. And maybe that's why they're having a problem. Not 10 cents more in diesel, but, companies look this kind of stuff up too. It's important. I'm not as concerned about being stretched out, but being overweight and stretched out. Just checked and both scales are open. Isn't that awesome? Right, big bucks and no whammies. Yeah, why don't you just move your kingpin? Diesel is cheap in El Paso. They were just worried about it. And the thing is, the company has their authority revoked several times. That might be a problem. Another cool thing about jet fuel is you can run it in a diesel. Yeah, most diesels will run almost anything you put in them, basically, almost. Do you see U.S. Express shutting down? They've reported losses. I will say they're on my death watch list, but not at the top of the list. U.S. Express stock is way down from its high, which is not great. And so do I think they're going to shut down tomorrow? No. But, I don't know. Are they on death watch 100% right now? No. It would bother me. They don't pay enough to stay there anyway, I don't think. I can't move the fifth wheel because you're 11,860 on steers. Man. Alexander, my Omnitrax has gone down a couple times, so it actually has come in handy, especially when I don't have to look anything up and just know what I'm doing. Right. You had actually a good trainer that they made you do that. That's pretty good. You should call her up and thank her. Darnell, I used to work for a company, at least a Prime. Can't tell you how many of their drivers I gave food to just to keep them from being hungry. It's a sad situation. I know. Those drivers, you don't ever see them posting, probably because they can't keep their phone turned on. But I get those letters too. Mark, I have a $1,300 truck payment, and I'm taking home $300 a week. I'm like, that's exactly right. That's how they work over there. It's because the fuel is exposed to salt air so much, Navy fuel is less likely to absorb moisture. Oh, that's interesting. So there's a good science thing. So I don't know the ins and outs of the moisture absorbency of fuel, but that's very good. Scalehouse loves double whammies. The problem with the Scalehouse is they like whammies, but we want no whammies. If you have pre-pass, they won't put you in. All right, here's the thing about pre-pass. Take it for what it's worth. If the scale is pre-pass, which I don't remember, and people are pre-passing it, they're going by it, you can go by it. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. This is something you should not do. So don't do this. If the scale's pre-pass and you don't have it, and people are going by, you get on CBs. Pre-pass open? Yes. You see trucks going by, one goes in, more go by. You can go by it. Okay, but don't do that. Now, I would never do that, of course. But what I'm saying is that they don't have any way in the scale to know who out on the interstate has pre-pass. A motorhome can go over that. A private carrier could go over it that's not otherwise required to go in there. There are motorhomes that are super heavy. So it's not a weight thing. It's not a metal thing. It's if you get the red, you go in. But if you don't have pre-pass, they don't know. They don't know who's way out there driving without it. That's all I'm saying. Could you do it? You could. You shouldn't do it. It's not right. We want to petition Google to make a trucker version of Maps. That's not a bad idea. I'm surprised they don't. Maybe they don't think there's enough people that would. If you're 120 pounds overweight and you're worried about it, take it to your J on that overweight load. Slide the fifth wheel. We're already over on the steers, though. I would be scared of those prime leases with weekly payments. I know they're super high. The prime lease is really high, and so you get a new truck. That's wonderful, but then you're living in the truck. It's not like you're taking weeks off at a time. That is not happening. Like I always ask prime drivers, I make as much as you. Well, okay, I take 5 weeks a year off. I have paid vacation. Okay, do you do that at prime? Paid? No. All right, with insurance and everything? No. So, it's unlikely that they end up, certainly solo drivers don't end up as more. And so that's how they force people to be trainers too. Maybe just be honest with the DOT of the lease line. That's good. That's the funniest one yet. But I agree. If they pull you in, you can explain it to them, but you still might get a ticket. Maybe. Running aviation fuel, you need to tip in on True Stroke oil for lube. All right. They got a triple whammy on you. I need to check my CSA score. Yes. 120 pound on drives, put chains in the cab. Oh, leave the chains. Just leave them. You don't carry chains. Dang it. That's right. You don't go that far. I'm off to lunch. Great show. Thank you, DA. 55 miles an hour at 11 hours is 600 miles. You're getting hosed. Pre-pass is useless in North Carolina. If it's on, you could pre-pass it. Trans Am's not great. I've been here 4 months. Need a good rock hauling company in Oklahoma. Yeah, Trans Am is not one of the great companies out there, certainly. Anyone else having trouble registering for the clearinghouse? I assume that there's going to be problems now registering, especially today, because everybody's out on it now. Personally, love science. I was in college for a while taking applied physics and scientific mathematics. Alexander, I agree with you. Purdue's right here in town. I've gone over and to the library and checked out many of their physics books. I love physics. And I've just done them in my free time, which I just love it. That's probably what I would have done and maybe should do, really. They don't worry about steer since when your fuel gets low, you get legal. You could why don't you just run the truck at 2,000 RPM sitting there until you burn enough fuel off? And there we go. Senator, the last company, right? Oh, North Carolina's their own pass. Well, look, you could still, if everybody's going by it, you could roll with it. I have a friend that works for Google. Really, ask him. Yeah, tell him that's what we want. Don't forget at Prime, if you're a lease operator, you have a tax liability and no workers' comp. That's exactly the thing. You're your own business. You don't get any benefits. You don't get paid holidays. Like I had those 2 paid holidays. You won't get that. You won't get vacation. You don't get anything. All you're doing is buying their truck. And eventually when you fail, they get their truck back. Not great. Replace air in the tires with helium. That's interesting. That would lighten it slightly. For truck GPS, you could ask them about that. as I tell people, because I do have to head out to work early today. That's we started early. Join OIDA. Let's get joined up to OIDA. Get everybody in there. It's the best we can do, right? I put the number out every week. I'm going to do that every week. If you need to use this number, hey, you write it down to use it 24/7, no obligation, no names, no nothing. They'll help you out if you need it. And you never know. People need the help. So see you all at the truck show. Get your tickets. They're free. And it's going to be great. And we'll be talking more about it as it comes up closer. Certainly as we get closer to the truck show. And they read the blog and that. And there's that. And we're going to do this click. And that comes over here. Oh, well, Bill was first today. I appreciate that for being here. Thank you very much for that. And was first this week. Michael Cole was first today. So let's put it that way. We want to get that correct as people get on there. Cassius King Trucking was here. I appreciate you coming in. Rumpelstiltskin. It's good to see Eduardo. Right, exactly. Thanks for coming in. Kay Wayne, it's good to see you. DA, love it. Alexandra, thanks for coming in. I'm glad that you're doing good out there. George Wilson, it's good to see you. Darnell, Ralph was here. Boy, Jeff, there were a lot of people in today, even though I went early, which I apologize for. Jeanette was here. I'll be early again next week, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. I have no choice because of what they did to me at work, but in 2 weeks we'll be back on the regular schedule. Roger Penske was here. George H.W. Bush was here. I should acknowledge that. Thank you for being here, Mr. President. Always like seeing you. Kenneth, thank you for coming in. Trucking Journeys, Michael Muller were here today. As I go down here, Kyle was here, and I can't get to everybody. Steve was here. Kelly, thank you for coming in. Misty, I appreciate it. And as always, everybody coming in. It's a big, huge Mike was here. Thanks for coming in. Texas Trader. Yeah, list of companies to visit. Yeah, there'll be a whole, you can go on their website at Matt's and it shows where they all are. There's tons of them. Al, thanks for being here. James Faust, it was good to see you. Michael Davis, kick out the lot. Yeah, you could lose 120 pounds right there, right? Cindy, thank you for being here. Fearless One. Do I still have the drug testing clearinghouse site? Yeah, it's, I have a video. I don't have it right here on top of me. But I have a video out about it, and you can just Google it up. I mean, it comes up right away. You won't have any problem finding it. So it won't be, you won't have any problems with getting it, really. So John Fowler, Georgia, Way in Motion with, yeah, that's the problem. If they have the scales out on the thing, that's a problem. Like the beginning and end of your stream is always romper room. You need a magic mirror. Oh, that's not a bad idea. But I don't know how many people remember that. Of course, some people remember the whammies. So I'm not sure. People might remember that too, though. Possibly. That's a good idea. But I made it to the end. I still can't talk well. Thank you for putting up with my poor voice today. Not that it's any great thing to listen to, but I do have to head off to work. I want to thank everybody for being here as we're here every week. We'll be back next Monday, and I hope to put out some videos this week. I didn't get videos done. I was so sick last week thanks to the doctor. This week we'll be back to normal no matter what I got to do. Getting the videos. Please watch the roads, though. Do not be out killing people, right? Just a second away from the road can be very, very unsafe as we see number of people died over this weekend over what didn't have to happen. Nobody had to die this weekend in those kind of accidents. Be safe out there, and we'll be back next Monday at 11:30 a.m. and more videos this week to come. All right? Thanks for being here, and I'll see y'all soon.